Hello and welcome to the Edward T. Barry Ice Rink here on the campus of UMass Boston for the New England Hockey Conference Semifinals. It's the second-seeded UMass Boston Beacons, the third-seeded Castleton University Spartans meeting for the second time in 3 years. These two teams were picked second and third. They finished in that order, and we had two phenomenal regular season contests. The Beacons won both. They had some trouble in both. In fact, we're trailing 3-0 here at home, Matt. And this is a really interesting matchup in which the Beacons own the all-time series. But as of late, we've seen a lot of close games, a lot of one-goal games, even a couple of overtime winners, including the last game just a couple of weeks ago.
Love a 2-versus-3 matchup, Seth. And I think, coming into the game, we talked a little bit off the air how we should prepare maybe for some overtime today, because the track record for these two teams is basically every shift, every single play is going to matter in this type of game. 50-50 pucks are going to be a must-have. You're going to need strong goaltending. And we know this Castleton team is a force to be reckoned with. Good, strong goaltending. They play strong defensively. Going to be a test for that Beacons offense, which has been hot of late.
The 2-3 matchup should be a great one. We'll take a look at the standings with all four teams left. Don't expect the same kind of game up at Kreuzberg today at 3 p.m. Plymouth State, first ever postseason win at home, first ever postseason game last weekend. But you look at the all-time matchup. I read the Norwich preview yesterday. Plymouth State 0-23 all-time against Norwich, and all the statistical numbers this year don't look so good. So it's likely the winner of this game is heading up to Kreuzberg Arena next Saturday.
Yeah, and we know what Norwich is obviously a force to be reckoned with, right? 14-0. So you're basically playing to have a chance to get the upset.
To take your shot.
Yeah, to take a shot. We know what Norwich is capable of, but let's not forget, Beacons not so long ago, right, last year, went into Kreuzberg 1-2-0. So you never know what's going to happen. I think you focus on today, and I think what's interesting, Seth, is you take a look at these two teams' records, both in conference and overall, very similar. Strong conference record overall, maybe a little bit, a little over 500. Which is really interesting and something we've kind of pinpointed, right? It's a little bit of a head scratcher where a team that does so well in the conference, and you take a look at what they've done out of conference, not so much. But interesting year. Coming into this game, I think we've got a Castleton, a Spartans team that is really going to be ready to play. Today I take a look at the warm-up, and they really look like they're ready to play. There's a confidence, there was a swagger with that Spartans team, and I hope the Beacons can match that.
Castleton won 5 of their last 6, including 4 or 5 to close out the regular season against conference opponents to get that 3 seed. How big is that for Castleton? Separated by just a point against Plymouth State, included a win over Plymouth State on the road. The Beacons finished strong as well. 7 of their last 10 have been wins. Take a look back to 2016. The NEHC semifinals, first ever NEHC semifinals, up at Norwich. It was UMass Boston, the 3 seed, upsetting the second seeded Castleton University Spartans in overtime. Take a look at those highlights right now.
Gets it back. 2 seconds left from the power play. Slap shot from the point, and the Spartans score. The tip in front from Brianna Keats, and it's 1-0 Castleton. What a tip in front. Pulled in, Slapper from the point, and they score! It's Katie Jetter. More set. Neutral ice. Now it's stolen away. Here's a chance on a breakaway, and the game-winning goal for Alli Bianchini. And the Beacons are going to the championship game.
Welcome back to Boston. That was a look at the 2016 semifinals. That was the third of now 4 all-time postseason meetings as we take a look at the all-time series. UMass Boston 3-0, wins in 2008, and an upset win in 2013, the quarters in which Casey Scheibe made 49 saves. The Beacons won 5-3 at Castleton. Then 2016, minor upset, another matchup where they were just separated by the 2 seeds. If we look at it, Matt, the Beacons lead 18-5-1. But UMass Boston won the first 14 games. From 2005 to 2011, it was all Beacons. Since then, 5-5-1, and realistically, the last couple of games, we've seen overtime games, we've seen 1-goal games. There really isn't much separating these two sides since that long Beacons winning streak.
Yeah, no question about it. And you take a look at, some of these with the all-time series. You're a big all-time series guy. I'm more of I guess
I was a history major in college.
Okay, so there you go. It suits. It's very suiting. More about what's recently, and I think you take a look at that last meeting, right, overtime, and I can't stress it enough how how similar these two teams are. I mean, strong goaltending, play well defensively, can score. The other thing too, Lisa Kilroy, she's a difference maker. You take a look, 117 games played.
Program record holder.
There you go. So one of the best, and that's the type of player in a game like this. When you walk in, I remember walking into a game like this where you know that it's going to be close. That's the type of player where you got to watch her all night, Kilroy, because that could be the difference. Late in the third period, you're tied. She's the type of player that can come down and get one late, and end your season. And so you walk into you got to know the matchups. And I think the big thing for the Beacons is I'm taking a look at that third line. Alli Bianchini, right? Game winner. Sent it last year. Sent it to the conference finals. You look at that third line: Bianchini, King, and Peacock. I think that might be the line to look tonight. I look at the third line for the Castleton Spartans, and I see a mismatch there. I think that Bianchini, Peacock, and King line could be a difference tonight. So keep an eye on them.
Remember the last time at home, it was Bianchini with 2 goals, including the game winner,
right,
in a 6-3 win. We're going to take a look at those highlights right now. Castleton jumped out to a 3-0 lead on Pink the Rink Day, a very emotional day here in Boston. The Beacons honor Catherine Wall, former member of the team who passed away 2 years ago now. But UMass Boston fell behind 3-0. They inserted Alyssa DePippo into the lineup. She made 13 saves the rest of the way. The Beacons scored 2 in the second and 4 goals in the third for a 6-3 win before earning a 3-2 win up in Castleton 3 weeks ago. Those were the highlights from the first time these two teams played back in November. Matt, a 6-3 win. The first collegiate goals for Sarah King and Katie Leffler. Everybody at this point, they're a year older, which means that Lisa Kilroy, who's a fifth-year senior, is essentially a sixth-year player at this point if you're going by coaching cliches. One of 2 seniors on this Castleton roster. Let's take a look at the team stats. Matt, on paper, Castleton has the edge in pretty much every statistical category, but for one reason or another, the Beacons have had their number this season.
Yeah, it goes to prove that's why you play the game, right? Statistics, play a big role, but I think obviously once you get on the ice, things can change. And I think, Seth, we were talking a little bit about how Castleton, a little bit on the shorthanded side, they have a really tight roster and obviously a group of girls that know each other very well. But you take a look, minus on the fourth line, they got two. They're shorthanded two in terms of forwards, and they got a forward playing D, only 5D, and -2 on the forward side. So you take a look, that could play. I don't think that's going to see. We'll see the effects of that in the first, second period. Could be something to watch in the third period, though.
Yeah, a single game, it impacts them
Right.
less. They've been shorthanded all season long with only 10 available forwards, sometimes 11,
Right.
and the 5 defensemen. But the Beacons played them both times on Saturday.
It matters.
Yeah, it certainly does.
Yeah.
Take a look right now at the team leaders for UMass Boston. Jane Morissette, Kaleigh Beauregard, and Bree Colucci. 3 of their all-conference players have been huge. On the other side, this Castleton top line does it all for this team.
Yep.
You know me, and I love my statistics.
Hit me.
Looking at Castleton's top line this season, and this is a crazy stat. 34 goals, 25 assists, 59 points. Their other 7 forwards, 17 goals, so half of that, 19 assists, 6 less, 36 points. So it's going to be those top 3, and then anything else is a bonus.
Big on that goes to the coaching. That's on Berman and that's on Carlos. They have got to make sure they have the right matchups on in that top line. You know that's where all their offensive production is coming from. Got to make sure you have the right lineups there. And you know what? I think the thing I found interesting, which I just realized, in terms of game-winning goals, Jane Morissette leads the team. In terms of power play goals, Kaleigh Beauregard. Really interesting. Typically, game-winning goals, power play goals, usually fairly close, maybe go hand in hand. You take a look, you see, and Beauregard, big game last game. She had that snipe. Maybe due for another big game here. She might be hot right now.
She's had a lot of big power play and just playoff goals here at the Barry. Right now we'll take a look at our goalie matchup graphic. 2 goalies who have been here before. You look at Rachel Myatt, her numbers as a senior, not where she would like them at, but her numbers in the NEHC tournament have been phenomenal. She's a player who can literally backstop you to a championship.
Yeah, and you got to look. If you're a Beacons fan, got to love when you see that senior versus freshman matchup. I mean, playoff hockey is a very different beast. And you take a look at what Myatt's been able to do. I know the overall record is a little bit shocking, right? Only 4 wins on the season, but when you break it down, you know she's been playing against some tough competition, and her statistics, the save percentage and the goals against, will tell you she's had a good season. You take a look at Calm. She's a good goalie, and I'll tell you what, Seth, she's the type of goalie that can steal a game. I know she's only a freshman, but 10 wins in her freshman year, and you take a look at her numbers, almost parallel to what the senior Myatt has been able to do. So 5 shutouts on the year, that's a standout right there.
Calm, actually a sophomore, typo on my part, but still, senior versus sophomore. Good news for the Beacons. The other thing, Myatt, in 6 career playoff games here in the NEHC tournament, 5-1, 2 shutouts, 157 saves versus 7 goals against, 957 save percentage, 1.14 goals against, and the tournament MVP back in 2016. Right now, we'll take a look at our player to watch. Last week, it was Jane Morissette. This week, it's the other all-conference forward. Can't argue with Kaleigh Beauregard this year.
Seth, I really like the way she's playing. I know, and Jane's been great. Morissette's been playing on top of her game right now, but you take a look at what Beauregard's been able to do, and I'll tell you what, she's the type of player, the way she shoots the puck and the way she can find space to get that shot off, huge. It's a type of shot almost parallel. You take a look at the way some of those men on the men's team, the way they shoot, it's very similar. She can fire it. You saw what she did last week. If you tuned in, you saw what she did on that 2-on-1, putting it under the bar. Really like what Beauregard's been able to do, especially on the power play.
And Beauregard's a player who runs hot and cold. When she's down, confidence isn't there, but when she's hot, and she has been recently, 6 points in 5 games here in February, it's really bad news for the opponent.
+7 too. That's +7.
Yeah,
I like that.
It means her line is working extremely well. She's on the top line today with Julia Nolan and Katie Barry. Right now, we'll play you the Beacon starters. We'll come out with the Castleton starters and our keys to the game. So we're just minutes away here at the Edward T. Barry Ice Rink.
Jane Morissette, senior forward, Pembroke, Mass.
Edie Moritz, junior forward, Guilford, Connecticut.
Erica Lund, sophomore forward from Kingston, Massachusetts.
Ariel Gallucci, junior defenseman from Warren, New Jersey. Bree Colucci, sophomore defenseman, Lancaster, New York.
Rachel Myatt, senior goalie, Duxbury, Mass.
See the Castleton starters right there. It's the top line, Kilroy, Briand, and Stevens. Briand, a second-team all-conference player this year, 12 goals, 10 assists, 22 points. Alli Stevens, the NEHC Rookie of the Year out of Jefferson, Mass, 11 goals, 9 assists, and 20 points. Hannah Rose, this defensive group does a nice job of supplemental scoring. Rose, a first-team all-conference player, 5 goals, a team-high 15 assists. She's out there with another all-rookie team member, Casey Trail. We've already talked about Alexis Kalm. Matt, before we get underway, let's take a look at our keys to the game for this contest. Here are the 3 that I threw out there. I'm sure you have quite a few other ideas of what this game could potentially come down to.
Penalty box, special teams, we know that those are typically difference makers in games like this. I agree. I think the goaltender Kalm could be the biggest factor in this game. If they allow her to get into a rhythm and allow her to see pucks, not a lot of traffic in front, and just allow her to remain focused throughout, she could end up stealing this hockey game. And, you know, you talk about, obviously consistency, scoring from all 4 lines for sure, but, you know, really interesting to see what this goaltender Kalm has today. It's going to be an interesting test for her playing in the Edward T. Barry tonight.
And Kalm's a player who struggled this year against UMass Boston. A very good goaltender against the Beacons. 0-2, an .855 save percentage, 4.46 goals against, 53 saves on 61 shots. Brought into the zone by Briand. Quick shot, Myatt makes the save. Puck's pushed over to the near side where it's picked up by Erica Lund. Beacons going with the second line of Morissette and Lund. Brought in by Morissette, the top scorer on either team. She floats a shot in. Kalm makes the early save. Beacons in the home whites. Lund, a backhand shot, and it's knocked away by a Castleton defenseman. Castleton into the road greens.
That first save is so critical. You saw both goaltenders. Little bit of trouble on the first one. Mayette, that was a tricky save, and then you see just a wrister from the wall from Morissette on Kalm, and a little bit of a rebound there. Both goaltenders trying to shake out maybe a little bit of that nervous energy early on.
Well, remember, Rachel Mayette had her struggles against Castleton. Had a huge game, the Beacons' third game of the season against Norwich. 51 saves on 55 shots, but didn't have it the next day against Castleton. She came in a little bit tired, and she was run out of the game as she gave up 3 goals in the first 13:30. Didn't play the second game, so she might have some thoughts in the back of her mind. But Mayette's such a strong goalie, you know that she's going to come in focused and get herself into the game.
Yeah, especially they talk a lot about this with quarterbacks and with goaltenders having a short memory. What they're really saying is you got to understand, okay, where were my mistakes made and how do I recover from them, right? Is it something you always got to be able to brush up? Was it a fluky goal? Can I just brush that off as kind of something that won't happen again? Or is it something I can fix? And I think Mayette's the type of goaltender, she's going to be able to recognize where her strengths are and play to those strengths today.
Third line versus third line. Castleton wins the faceoff, comes out of the zone. Bianchini flips it around the defenseman there to Vergiak. Alli Bianchini from below the goal line trying to work it around. Able to find a teammate in Rachel Peacock. Peacock towards the center of the net, knocked down and picked up by the Spartans. They'll feed it ahead, finding Megan Vasile into the Beacon zone where the Beacons have 4 players to Castleton's 1.
Really early on here, Seth, but I really like the way the Beacons are clogging the middle of the ice. They are not giving the Castleton Spartans much of anything. 2 forwards in the neutral zone, and really, there's really not a ton of passing options. You saw a couple times now, a couple turnovers from Castleton in the neutral zone, doing a really nice job.
Top line back out there for the Spartans. Briand, a shot from distance that's held on to by Mayette. It's one of the keys that Lindsey Berman talked to me about on Thursday. We'll have an interview with Berman to start our first intermission. As Berman and Ashley Salerno on the Castleton side, both named the NEHC Co-Coach of the Year. So a rare matchup in the postseason where you see 2 Coach of the Year in the same season. Both coaches very young. 3rd season for Berman, 1st year for Salerno. Spent the past 3 years as an assistant coach at Middlebury and the University of Vermont. Controlled by the Spartans in their own end. Samantha Munro, the forward who's playing defense, is the 5th defenseman. Able to feed ahead for Briand. Briand across, right-handed shot, and it's a long rebound. That one looked like Alli Stevens, whose rebound bounces all the way out into the neutral zone.
That's a big save. That's as good as a 2-on-1. Mayette on the blocker side, able to redirect it. I like the way she tracked that puck. That's a good save early on.
And that's a player you don't necessarily want seeing if you're a Beacons to get that shot. Stevens has 11 goals on the season, 20 total points.
Blown coverage too, Seth, there on that 2-on-1.
Erica Lund's shot gets knocked down in front by Tvergiak. Remember, Castleton with just 10 available forwards today and 5 defensemen. That's been the case all season long. Only 1 player not dressing. They have 3 goalies. Doesn't do you a whole lot of good when you ride the one. But short forwards and defensemen for this contest.
And that actually helps you a little bit early on in the game because players actually get more shifts. They feel like they can get more of a rhythm. We'll see that dividend actually hurt them later in the third period.
Especially if this game were to go to overtime. 3 of the past 6 meetings have gone overtime. It's not going to end in 5 minutes like it has the last couple times. As Myatt, another save from distance. It's interesting. Castleton scored 2 goals from the blue line in the first meeting, thinking maybe that's a way to beat Rachel Myatt, the Quinnipiac transfer, who's in her 3rd year with the Beacons.
It's a little jumpy, Seth. A little jumpy in there. She's usually, she seems to be laser focused, but I think take a deep breath there from Rachel. Just a little bit. That shot there was a pretty routine save, and that was a tasty rebound for a forward.
Chance for a 2-on-2. It's Vasile in the 3rd line for the Spartans. She waits for a little bit of help, and we'll send a backhand pass for Babiars, who missed the past couple of games, came back last Saturday in a win over Southern Maine in the NEHC quarters. A significantly easier win than the Beacons had, as Castleton earning a 5-2 win. They led the entire way. The Beacons had to come back. They trailed 2-1 in the second. Chance from the slot, and that shot's knocked down. Another rebound allowed by Myatt. That's been a big issue as Casey Trail left the big, juicy rebound, but none of her teammates could find it.
You know, other than that blocker save, that one's redirected. But other than that blocker save on the 2-on-1, her rebounds have been a little bit sporadic. She seems to be in a routine. She's made 5 or 6 saves now, Seth, but a little bit of pregame nerves, I think, if you're Rachel Myatt. A couple rebounds there that have been laying out in the slot.
I'm Seth Dorensky, joined by Matt Meisenbacher, a former goalie in his own right. And Matt, it's so difficult. You don't get a chance to go to the bench and have a conversation. Shot from the slot, and Myatt makes the glove save on Brian. A big glove save and holds on.
There you go. That's what you like to see there. That's a shot from the slot. Now, what's interesting is the ones that typically wouldn't give you much of a problem as a goaltender, right? Shots from distance would typically be easily controlled, easily directed on rebounds. Now, the 2 ones that tested her, the 2-on-1 and that one from the slot, no rebound, easily. So the blocker side, she deflected that nicely. Glove save there, no rebound. So, I don't know, maybe she's all right. Maybe got to give her a little more credit.
She's got to up the difficulty on the save, and that's when she makes the better rebound controls. This one's sent in from behind the red line, and we're going to get an icing on the Beacons.
Face-off's crucial today. We know that. We know that more so, and that's true with any game, right? You got to win your face-offs, but more so in a game like this where matchups, we talked about in the pregame, matchups are going to be crucial here. That top line for the Spartans is so good, and so they're so capable of scoring on the second line out there now, but really got to watch number 15. 15 for the Spartans is the one that really has a knack and a nose for the net.
Second line, Forrest versus Erica Lund. The Beacons' third line actually out there. Lund joined by Peacock and Bianchini. Behind the net, Bree Colucci. The Beacons' lone all-conference defenseman on the second team, as this could be another icing if Peacock doesn't win the foot race. Not known for her speed, and we will go back down the sheet of ice. 14:29 to go in this first period. 4th all-time meeting between these two teams in the NEHC tournament. The Beacons 3-0 thus far. Won back in 2008 here at home, 2013 and 2016, a 2-1 overtime victory that was part of the Beacons' only ever NEHC tournament title and only tournament title in program history. Peacock leaves it for a Castleton player. Another glove save, but not where you want to leave the puck, as Nicole Trevino was wide open in that far circle.
Smart by Myatt. Just take that whistle, get a line change. That line needs to talk on the bench, and you saw King a little bit there on the face-off talking to her wingers, but they've got to figure it out. 2 times, and then third there, they had a chance to clear. Didn't do it. Got to figure it out on that bench there if you're that third line.
First time I think we've seen the Beacons' 4th line, Harris, Brown, and Leffler. Harris darting around a player. She scored a goal last week. Leffler hits the outside of the post. She scored her first collegiate goal in her first collegiate game last Saturday, or not last Saturday, the first meeting here in Boston against Castleton, as it comes around the boards, kept in by Lizzie Saxer, one of the Beacons' sophomore defensemen. Leffler able to keep it in, somehow able to avoid Brown's skates, and a backhand feed from Brown gets tipped just wide by Harris.
It's a good shift here, 4th line. A little bit of pressure here. Could get another shot on goal.
Well, Castleton doesn't really have a 4th line as Leffler tips it into the pads there of Calm, who was kicking out with the left leg. 2-3 good looks from this 4th line as they'll start to head to the bench. Leffler able to keep it in. Lots of speed from the Florida native. Leffler somehow still able to dance with it through traffic. Gets some help from Morissette, and it's knocked down by the glove. And Leffler will turn around and keep it in the zone.
She needs a change. She's done her part. Got to get off the ice here, get a change. You've got Castleton pinned a little bit.
Shot from Saxer, tipped high and wide there by Jane Morissette. The Beacons are buzzing here with 7 minutes gone by in the first.
Definitely have a spark. It's a big shift for the Beacons. They're okay. I know they clear the zone there. They got to get this puck in deep in a hurry.
Everyone is heading off. It's just the two defensemen staying in. Drill with speed from the slot. Shot goes high.
They're fine. Seth, they got to continue. They got to change their Castleton, but they're still scrambling. You see the Beacons continuing to pressure.
Morissette whiffs on the shot just in front of the net, but Jane Ann Drill is there to keep it in. Drill working against Lisa Kilroy. Top line out there for Castleton, but this is the scoring line, not necessarily the offense line. A chance for a 3-on-1. The pass from Briand ahead for Kilroy. This would be an icing, but the Beacons don't have numbers back. Grace Fisher fighting with Kilroy behind the net, and it's picked up by Briand. So the Beacons had all that pressure, but nothing to show for it.
And they're fortunate that puck went as far as it did, Seth. Jane Ann Drill went in on the rush, and I don't blame her. She had an opportunity to generate some offense there, but nobody covered for her on the pinch, and that was a 2-on-1. If that puck's any softer, that's a scoring opportunity for the Spartans.
Lund failed to clear the zone at first, but able to get a poor decision there from Tverziak, and now a third icing called on UMass Boston here in the opening 8 minutes. Matt, it was mostly Castleton early on, and then the Beacons may have just turned the switch there with that minute and a half in the zone.
It's amazing, fourth line, we see this with the men's program. They really look to that fourth line to get a spark, and you saw it there. Marin Brown, Katie Leffler, and Emily Harris with a great shift there, followed it up with the first line. A couple shots on goal for the Beacons, and the most momentum they've had so far today.
Pass in front for Forrest, knocked down. Shot from the top, and it's just wide from Tverziak. We're seeing a lot of these Castleton players with frequent shifts here in the first. It's going to happen.
Yep.
They have just 3 full lines and 2 full defensive pairings. Their fifth defenseman, Samantha Monroe. I'm not sure if we've seen her yet. A converted forward who's just a sophomore. Has played in 22 games this year, 1 assist. And then on the fourth line, it's Sophia Vinci. Just 1 assist in 25 games. She'll probably play a couple shifts this game. Not necessarily going to see anywhere near as much time as the other 9 forwards. Beacons skating with their full retinue of available skaters. Up top, it's controlled by Katie Bearing, the top line. Sends a soft shot along the ice that's kicked away by Calm.
It's a nice little shot there.
Certainly not what I was expecting.
No, yeah, and I'm surprised she got that through. There was a little bit of traffic. She kept it low on the ice. And a good save by Calm. That was a tricky shot.
Colucci tried to feed it over for Barry, gets knocked down, and heading to the bench will be Nicole Trevino, third line right winger. She gets a change. Picked up by Peacock in her own zone. The long feed pass just under the stick of Barry, and yet another icing. That's the one thing the Beacons have struggled with.
Yeah, it's the third line again. It's a little bit interesting. I really had this line pinpointed as maybe a difference maker in this game, but you can see they're just not really on the same page of yet. Peacock there on the breakout. That's a tough pass. I understand, that's not the easiest pass to make in the world, but that's like the third or fourth time where I've seen them a little bit of miscue on the breakout.
Spartans win the faceoff, but the shot from Allie Stevens hits her own player. Top line out there for Castleton. This is the scoring line. A perfect pass for Kilroy, whose shot goes off the right shoulder of Mayette. Spartans still keeping in the zone to the far side. Beacons have numbers over there. First one to it is Galucci, who whiffs on the potential clearance, and it'll be Kilroy behind the net. Centering feed goes off of Mayette, and it's picked up by Peacock. Beacons have some tired legs out there. Peacock carries it across the red line, and she'll keep it in, so the Beacons get a change. Bianchini tips it away from a forward, and it's picked up by Monroe. Rare shift for the sophomore converted defenseman. And a shot from Bianchini gets through the pads of Calm, and the Beacons lead 1-0 on the third goal of the year from Alli Bianchini against Castleton University.
Oh, I love it. Throw it to the net. Oh, throw it to the net. And Alli Bianchini not looking to score there. Just created a little bit of turnover on her own, was able to fire it towards the net. Calm wasn't ready for it. It trickled in. Unbelievable. We'll show you this on the replay. Take a look. Great work by Bianchini to read the play, and then just Seth, she fires it to the net. I don't think she was looking to score there. Perhaps maybe trying to get a whistle. Calm struggled with it. Next thing you know, the ref was single. It's in the net. 1-0 Beacons.
Well, Matt, I still haven't seen the play, but when the Beacons went up to Castleton, went to overtime with 1:05 left, as there's a big hit, no call coming right at the red line as Harris knocked down a Castleton player not once but twice. But Jane Morissette, on her goal, she sent it into the pads of Calm as Mayette will escort the puck aside. And the puck bounced around the pads of Calm before going in. This time, everyone thought that Calm had the puck except for the referee behind the net. A good job by the referee to stay with the puck.
Well, you'll see on the replay set, there's just a great read by Bianchini to read the play on the breakout. And then I love the fact, didn't try to do too much, just fired it towards the net. I'll tell you what, Calm's shaking a little bit. That's a bad goal. That's one you've got to stop. She didn't track it. Somehow leaked in behind her, And I know that's in the back of your head as a goaltender in a game like this where you know it's going to be close. You're really trying to make the team earn any goal that they're getting. That's one you'd like to have back.
Giving up 9 goals this season against UMass Boston. Her worst game of the year right here in Boston. 6 goals on just 31 shots. Her 6 goals tied for a season high. Also gave up 6 goals on 44 total shots against Middlebury. As this is going to be another icing, and let's take a look at that Beacons goal.
Yeah, you're going to see here, the puck's going to come out of the corner here, and Bianchini's just going to read it. Watch right here. Bad, and you know what? I take that back. Might have been deflected. And I'm not sure who was in on that corner. You see Bianchini just throwing it to the net. Next thing you know, the ref signal and it's in. But if we take a look again, I think it might have been deflected. It might have been on that forecheck. A little bit of a deflection. Then next thing you know, Bianchini in the right place, able to fire it towards the net. Beacons have a 1-0 lead.
Not a ton of traffic there in front of Colm. Hannah Rose was trying to get her stick on it. But a good start for UMass Boston despite their struggles with the icing. I'm sure that's going to be something Berman will talk to them. There's a shot that gets knocked down right in front. Good work from Jane Ann Drill there, 25, not 5. A third opportunity, and Mayette makes the glove save and will hold on with Kilroy right in front.
You know, and I understand Drill there trying to, block those shots. Would prefer from a shot from that distance. It's one thing when it's in the slot or it's close towards your net trying to block it or get in front of it. But a shot from that distance, I would love to see her maybe take a stride away. Let Mayette make those saves. Oftentimes with a defense, you try to do a little bit too much, you end up deflecting it in on your goaltender. I understand what she's trying to do there, Seth, but maybe let your goaltender from that distance make those saves.
Couple of good chances in a row for Allie Stevens, the conference rookie of the year. Leads all NEHC freshmen with their 11 goals, and it's Stevens able to keep it in there. No offsides, but the Beacons bring it out of the zone with Edie Moritz, the junior out of Guilford, Connecticut, still going for it. Puts some pressure there on Jade Remillard. Second line out there for Castleton, Remillard, Forrest, and Bailey. Collecting in her own zone, that's Katie Jetter, who wears one of the Beacons' A's. Ahead for Lund, who will just float that one in wide of the net, and the Beacons will get a change. Kaleigh Beauregard and UMass Boston's top line. Haven't seen a lot of them today as they are out on the ice right now. Jetter looking at her options. She'll weave past one Castleton player, still controlling it, sends it in. Knocked away by the stick of Com, who just gave up that goal about 2-3 minutes ago. Behind the net, it is Beauregard, our player to watch, as it's stripped away. Good work from Jocelyn Forrest, the junior out of Prince George, British Columbia. Colucci off the boards. Long feed pass for Barry. Barry will dump it in. The Beacons will put a little bit of forecheck pressure on. Puck is popped up and out of the zone for Nolan. UMass Boston a 1-0 lead almost 7 minutes into this conference semifinal. Beacons looking for their 3rd win of the year against the Spartans.
Really like the way the Beacons are moving the puck. They have a tendency sometimes to hold on to it for a little bit too long, try to make that perfect play. Nice move by Peacock here. But I like the way they're moving it today. A little bit of speed. They take, if their first option's not there, they hit the second option. They're moving the puck nicely. Like to see them connect on a few more passes, a few of those that have been blocked or intercepted, but so far moving the puck very well.
Colucci up top for Bree Colucci. Beacons top line defensive pair of a sophomore and a junior who are both very good offensively and defensively, as Colucci misses on the pass and a chance for Castleton to go the other way. Bree Colucci is there for UMass Boston against her counterpart in the number 24, Nicole Trevino. Colucci to the far side, picked up by Peacock, who holds off a player and feeds it ahead for Sarah King. King for Bianchini, who overskates it. Going the other way with it is Hannah Rose. Rose loses it for a moment at the top of the circle, dangles her way through one player, gets knocked down, and Katie Leffler is going to go to the box.
It's a check. It's a check. Nice play. Nice play.
Well, it's not a check if you're playing the Olympic gold medal game where everything was let go.
That was unbelievable, wasn't it?
It was one of the most fun times I've ever had watching hockey.
What a game, huh? What a game. I stayed up for that game. I regretted it
2:20
the
in
next
the morning,
day.
yeah.
I regretted it the next day. It was late, but what a game that was.
I can tell you the Beacons regretted it as well. They had a 9 o'clock practice, and I've never seen Lindsey Berman, who's always so energetic. She was very happy that she didn't have a long day at the office after practice that day.
Sluggish, but it's all right. Game like that, you're glad. I'll take that any day. What a game. Congrats to the U.S. national team for beating Canada. What a game. That was all time.
Amy Bryant stripped to the puck in the circle as the Beacons will go on the penalty kill. You look at it this season, we just showed you the graphic, but if you were looking down, Castleton on the season, second in the conference, 20 of 106, 18.9%. They're heating up on the power play right now as Marset, who leads the nation with 3 shorthanded goals, will flip it out and the Beacons will get a change. Beacons 81 of 8, 6th in the conference in penalty kill at 82.7%. Stolen away by Moritz, and Moritz loses the puck. No call there. It was very close to a hook on the Spartans.
Solid read. Moritz, another opportunity here.
Moritz with Barry trailing 2v3, and the shot gets tipped up. Nice job by Hannah Rose to avert a potential shorthanded tally.
Really keeping things simple with the Beacons, and I love to see it. If I'm a coach for the Beacons, I'm telling everybody keep it up. Really just simple plays here, letting the play, and that's the thing. Not allowing the play to dictate your next move, being forthright in the way you're coming onto the ice, knowing exactly what your assignments are. I'll tell you what, I like the way the Beacons are playing right now.
Colucci is shot shorthanded that gets tipped high. Katie Barry will dump it down low for Moritz, and the Beacons have already killed off a minute as Moritz goes down behind the net, asking for a hit from behind, not going to get it. Castleton player loses an edge, and that allows the Beacons to keep the puck in the zone. Finally picked up by Castleton's Jade Remillard. This Castleton unit has gotten hot at the right time. 5 of their last 14 on the power play over their last 4 games, including 2 power play goals in each of their past 2. Up top, it's Tverziak for Forrest. Forrest loses it, and a chance for Barry to clear the zone. Can't get there, but we're going to have a penalty against Jocelyn Forrest for taking down Barry, and the Beacons not only have to kill a minute 30, they'll have a minute 30 on the power play of their own, as we'll give you the Beacons numbers when it becomes their power play. Great work there from the combination of Moritz and Barry on the penalty kill. Castleton never got set up.
Hustle drew that penalty right there. That's all hustle. That's hard work. And you saw, especially Katie Barry there, working it on the blue line. Tough play. That's a tough position as a forward. You really got to read the play there. Got to be quick. Got to be agile. You saw there, she was quick enough. Drew the penalty, drew the tripping call. We'll play 4 aside for the next 30 seconds.
4 aside, the Beacons will go with Beauregard and Nolan as their forwards. Thought they might throw out Morissette and Beauregard and get really greedy, but I think that
they'll save them.
Lindsey Berman's going to save it for a little bit later, already leading 1-0 as the puck is sent in behind the net of Mayette. 2 defensemen are Jeter and Colucci, as Jeter picks it up, has the lead pass for Nolan, who tips it inside the red line, so no icing here. The Beacons about to be on the power play in under 5 seconds as they're going to get 4 skaters out there, pinning along the boards, and now UMass Boston on the 5-on-4. Katie Barry, who drew the penalty, will head on as the 5th skater. Beacons with Harris, Nolan, Beauregard, Colucci, and Barry. There's a hard shot from Colucci that somehow got its way all the way through, kicked aside by Coleman, and it comes out of the zone.
A whistle here would really benefit the Beacons, just resetting just a little bit. Now that you're on the power play, try to set things up a little bit, see if they can get the pucks deep here.
Beacons on the season, 17 of 108 in the power play, 15.7%. Good for 4th out of 8 teams in the conference. Castleton, 2nd in the conference, 90 of 104 in the PK, 86.5%. Brought into the zone by Harris. Harris, a pass in front, 2 Beacons there, and it's tipped wide by Moritz. Coming on is Marin Brown, the captain, sent down low for Barry. Barry trying to feed across. Brown shot right into the body, and it's saved by Calm.
Yeah, great save. Great save. Puck was bouncing in front. She had to leave her stick. Couldn't bring the stick with her, but was able to close the legs a little bit. No rebound there. Her best of the day. I thought that had a chance of going in, Seth.
Beacons will bring that top unit out there. Jane Morissette, who is just so dangerous. 10 goals in her last 10 games, including 5-game winners. Has had success in all parts of the game. She's had 3 power play goals and 2 shorthanded goals during that stretch. She has it up top. Shot from distance, knocked away by the right shoulder of Calm. Colucci with it on the far side. Back for Morissette. Morissette to the slot and given right back. Bianchini and Morissette not on the same page. Down to 20 seconds left on the minute 30 power play.
It's all right here. Still got a chance. 15 seconds here. You can get this deep in the zone. Don't forget, it takes a little bit to get from the box. So you get a little bit. Maybe might not count as a power play goal, but you get a couple extra seconds there at the man advantage if someone's got to make a change.
Bianchini able to pick up the bouncing puck, has it stripped away. Chance for Castleton to clear as we're back to 5-on-5. And there's a good stick from Bianchini, who scored the goal, to keep it in. Centering feed, knocked down. Nice job by the defenseman there, Casey Trail. All rookie team honoree alongside Allie Stevens, the conference rookie of the year. Jeter hard off the boards. Kicked away there by Nolan, whose pass is intercepted. Castleton had to wait to get back on sides, and Brian's shot from distance goes wide. 2:10 to go in the first. Beacons lead 1-0 on the goal from Bianchini midway through the period. Brian trying to collect behind the net. Instead, it's Julian Nolan, the Beacons' top line center for Beauregard. Feeds ahead for Barry. Barry getting around a player close to a hook. No call this time. Both teams have had a minute 30 of power play time here in the first. The feed pass Looking for Brian. She'll send it high off the glass and head back to the bench as Castleton's in the midst of a change. 1 forechecker there. That was Kilroy staying on. And the Beacon's able to clear the zone, but not much further. Bumped in by Samantha Monroe, who's gotten a couple shifts as the fifth defenseman. Doesn't have a partner in crime out there. Beacons turn it over. Picked up by Forrest. Forrest looking to feed it down low for Bailey. Couldn't quite connect on the pass.
Didn't miss by much.
Now it's the third member of that group. Remillard finds a player off the bench, and that's shot from trail that doesn't get through. Still in a dangerous position, and it's picked up by Lund for the Beacons.
It's a big shot block. That would have been a crushing goal. I thought, and then a penalty. It's going to be a tripping call.
I think it might be a checking call as well. It was a big hit on Lund, a hip check right in front of the Castleton bench. And again, Erica Lund, that high energy play from Lund. She doesn't always connect on goals and assists, but she is a player who's really a pest for the opponent.
Drew it, and she should be getting extra bumps on the bench right now. That's a huge play. Now, a minute left. You got a power play here set. This is a big opportunity in the game. If you can manage to score here, I'll tell you what, going into the locker room with a 2-0 lead over a 1-0 lead, it's amazing what that does to your psyche. This is a big moment for the Beacons and for the Spartans as well.
Beacons' power play, unfortunately, has been ice cold. One of their last 17. UMass Boston will look to get something going. 0 for 6 last Saturday. They've really been more on their shorthanded goals. As Bianchini taps in front, and it's a shot and a score! Bree Colucci all alone on the back door, and the Beacons double their lead with 48 seconds left in the period.
That's a big goal for the Beacons, and you could kind of feel it coming. Once that penalty call, I had that kind of a little bit of instinct that there was a goal. If you've been around the game, you can
kind of hockey vibe.
A little bit. I felt like the Beacons had a chance to score there, and you could see the way they came off the bench knowing that this was a big moment, seizing the moment. Just a great job getting that puck to the front of the net. Shot didn't get blocked, Seth. A little bit of a rebound there from Colm, and then it was able to tuck in. 24 on the goal, 2-0 Beacons.
Primary assist should go to Marin Brown. Not sure about the secondary as Maya forced to make another save. She made 5 or 6 in the early going to keep this game at 0-0. Goals from Bree Colucci and Alli Bianchini about 10 minutes apart have given the Beacons a 2-0 advantage as they try to keep it that way heading into the first intermission.
That's huge, Seth. That goal is so big for the confidence level of these Beacons to go in. And we'll talk a little bit in the next 20 seconds. I'll give you kind of an idea of what that feels like going into the locker room with a 2-goal lead versus 1.
Still 15 seconds left, and it's Kilroy. In her 118th game, Kilroy's shot knocked away by the legs of Colucci. Down under 10 seconds to go. Kilroy trying to keep it alive. Jane Ann Drill trying to pinch it along the boards. Puck is a little bit loose. Stevens trying to pry it away with 2-1, and the Beacons will lead by 2. Matt, before we go down low with Lindsey Berman, let me get your take.
Yeah, I think 1-0 lead, you walk into the locker room and you feel like, okay, we won the period. Let's keep charging here. Let's keep going. There's a little bit of tension. There's a little, not the same type of confidence. Now 2-0, you're feeling like, all right, we dominated that period. We've got this, girls. We can go in with a little bit more swagger going into the locker room, and you can see the way they're exiting the ice. Extra fist bumps, extra head taps. I like the way they score. That's a big moment there for the Beacons, but right now we'll send it down. We got Dave Wahlberg with Coach Berman here after the first period. Thank you, Dave. And it seemed like maybe some technical issues there. Not sure if the people at home got to hear Coach Berman and Dave Wahlberg there at the second intermission. Right now, we'll take it to a commercial break. We'll be back with the first intermission report here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
Yeah, last weekend's game against Salve was difficult, and honestly, we were expecting it because our first 2 games with them were also pretty tough, and they came out really hard and played for 60 minutes. So, but I'm happy that we were tested the way we were. I think it's really good preparation for the coming weekend, and if we can fight through a little adversity in the quarters, I think it sets us up really well for the semis. Sure, our secondary scoring has been huge for us, and it's really nice that our top guys don't have to hold that much pressure, on their shoulders to always score the goals. So we've had some goals from our back end, and our third and fourth line has been not only our forechecking lines, but they've been producing too. So it's really nice that we can rely on all four lines. Sure, I think we have kind of created a rivalry with Castleton, having seen them so many times over the past couple of years. But every time we play them, it's a fast-paced game. It's clean. I think both sides see a lot of chances. It's up and down. So we're looking forward to this game. I think it's going to be a good one. I think we match up really well with Castleton. I think they're deep, and I think we are too. But just like us, they don't have one girl doing all the work. They have a lot of depth, and I know they look to four lines to help them out too. So I think it's going to be a well-matched game. We have to be really sound defensively and really aggressive. And we talk a lot about discipline, so we really have to show up with all of that to be successful on Saturday. A couple big takeaways from our games versus Castleton this year. The first one is I don't think in either game we played 60 minutes. Both of them, that first game, we took the first period off, and that second game, I think our second period was really rough. So we really have to put 60 minutes together against these guys. And the last piece is that their goaltending is really strong. So we really are harping on shooting the puck and making sure we have bodies to the net and being hungry around the net. So those two things are really big for us, and hopefully those two will help us. Yeah, it's great. We're really excited that we get to play at home for the semifinal for the first time ever. With the new format, that stat kind of helps us a little bit there, but we're excited. We like to play at home, as I think everyone does, but we're excited to play in front of our own fans and our own parents. Our team's here, so we're really looking forward to it.
Paris changed my life, and I got there through UMass. Those very specific seminal moments in Paris, the subway. A man in a tuxedo walked in, and a woman in a long gown. And it was stunning. It all hit me. It was like a lightning bolt. There was this world of beauty and style that I wanted to be a part of. That was the beginning of the journey. And that all came through the University of Massachusetts. And that was really a key moment for me. That's one of those moments you never forget.
Seth, we're on standby, folks. There he is. Oh, he's not yet. There he is. Is he here? No, he's still not here. Oh, he's having trouble. All right, Rach, come on. You got to step in. We got to talk about the first period. There he is.
All right,
I heard it click.
Let's take a look at our first period statistics. Our intermission show, we haven't had the greatest audio as of yet. We're gonna turn that around right now.
You're battling, Seth, though. I love it. I love the determination by you. Really, really battling right now.
Beacons 13-8 in shots,
Yep.
10-8 in faceoffs. And most importantly, for a team that's won your last 16 on the power play, to get that power play goal, huge. And Matt, we were talking off air,
Yep.
the difference between 1-0 or 2-1 or 3-2 and a 2-goal lead, it's totally different in terms of your mentality go into the locker room.
It's tough to articulate unless you've been in a hockey locker room, but the way I'd break it down is 1-0. It's a little bit more quiet. Everyone's still really, feeling it out, not really sure what to say. 2-0, I guarantee you, Seth, they're in there. People are high-fiving. People are congratulating. Hey, nice job, nice shift. Hey, I like what you did there. Hey, nice job on the draw. Hey, way to block that shot. Way to get that to the net. Much more chatter. And as a coach, or from my perspective, love to hear that. Love when a locker room is jumping like that. You don't really get that. 1-0, you're kind of feeling like, okay, check the box. We did it. Nice period. Walked out of there. We won that period. 2-0, you're like, hey, especially coming that late in the period, just a totally different vibe, and I think you're going to see that. If we're placing bets right now, Beacons come out firing second period.
Well, we're not placing bets because we don't want the FBI to come down on us either.
Legally.
Gentleman's wager
yes,
with nothing on the
that's
line.
That's what I was going for, exactly.
Right now, we'll take a look at the scoring summary. Two players who have come up big for UMass Boston throughout their careers. Alli Bianchini at .958, and then Brie Colucci on the power play. Colucci has been little bit of an offensive spark for this team. Came in midway through the year last year as a freshman, as Sunya Oswego transfer. Big reason why she's the second-team all-conference versus some of the other Beacon's competent defensemen is because she's been filling up the stat sheet for her goal number 3 on the season. Colucci's also added 10 assists amongst the Beacon's leaders, and 13 points, not too bad for a defenseman, especially on a Beacon's team that doesn't score all that many goals. Assists for UMass Boston on the second goal. Marin Brown and Edie Moritz credited with assists. No assists on that first goal. Quickly before we take a look at the men's highlights from last weekend, they'll have a big game later on tonight at Norwich in the 4-1 matchup. Let's take a look around the rest of the conference. Man, I'm not going to call an upset today like I did last week.
You almost did.
No, but that's an interesting score to me. No, it is because all the stats Norwich is the #1 team in the country.
Right.
Plymouth State has never been here before. For them to be tied after 1 at Kreitzberg, that's impressive.
I always give you a hard time. I give you a hard time.
I take it.
You take it. I'm gonna remain silent on this one. I'm gonna let you ride this one because last time I gave you a hard time, you proved me wrong. We were on the men's broadcast. You called the upside at Hobart. What did I have? Hobart and Southern Maine.
You had Hobart, Southern Maine. I had Norwich Castleton. That game went to double overtime.
Yeah.
I don't anticipate double overtime at Norwich in the women's game. Who knows about the men's?
I'm going to refrain from any analysis or commentary on the score. We'll see where we're at after 2.
Let's take a look at the men's hockey highlights right now. We'll come out around the rest of the Beacon Mill. This is a big game today, a big day today for UMass Boston. Not only the women's team playing, the men's team in the semifinals. Ooh. Women's basketball's got a huge one today at 4. Going for the LEC championship. We'll keep you abreast of all the scores and all the games going on, both in Beacon Mill and around the conference. those are the highlights from last Saturday's game. We'll take a look around Beaconville. Men's hockey, they've got a difficult one tonight. They face the defending national champs at Norwich. 7 p.m. game in the NEHC semifinals. Women's basketball, they're at UMass Dartmouth. Another difficult game. Beacons have lost twice this year at UMass Dartmouth, trying to earn that first ever LEC championship. Men's basketball just a little bit short last night. But, Matt, this was a historic winner, but it's not going to feel like a successful winner unless one of these three teams can come through with the championship.
No doubt. No doubt. Big day for Beaconville. 0 for 1, right? Men's basketball not.
Well, that was last night.
Yeah,
1-1 last night.
Okay. So, a lot to be had tonight. Big one in Norwich. Big one in Norwich. That's always a tough place to play, man. No matter what, doesn't matter, regular season, obviously playoffs, postseason, tough place to play. Tough place to play.
Right now, we're going to take a look at the highlights from that first period. A pair of Beacons goals. A couple of nice saves from both of these goaltenders.
Yep, yeah, we'll run it here, and you take a look right off the bat. You know, Castleton came out with a couple good shifts there, and you're going to see this 2-on-1 here. Good save from Mayette, able to direct this puck off the blocker and out of the zone. That was a big rebound, but that's the type of rebound actually you can work on stuff like that, making it actually pushing the puck out of the slot. You see another save here from Mayette. She was good early on, had to be. Was tested early. Castleton had a couple good shifts. Beacons then picked it up a little bit. After that first 5 minutes, really picked it up and dominated for the portion of the majority of this period. You'll see a shot on goal here. This one didn't miss by much as that puck might have been a little bit of a screen or a redirect on the way through, but a good save by Calm. And then here's the goal. Bianchini just on a great read. It definitely was deflected there. Great pressure on the forecheck. And then I love what Bianchini does. Just corral it, pucks bounce a little bit, fire it toward the net. Never know what's going to happen, and sure enough, Calm struggled with it a little bit, didn't get a good read on it. That made it 1-0 Beacons. Just a great play from Bianchini. Still got to figure out. Didn't see who that was on the forecheck.
It was Katie Leffler.
It was Leffler. Credit to her. Not going to be on the score sheet for a play like that, but should get some type of credit for getting that turnover on the forecheck. Nice job by Leffler. Another save here. You'll see multiple saves here from Mayette, and then the Beacons would come down. They're going to get a couple opportunities here. Another save here from Mayette as that comes through. That was a pretty good flurry there, 8:25 into the period, but this is really where the Beacons took over. And they were dominating for this period, Seth. You'll see a shot on goal here and a good save. That was, I think, Calm's best save of the period. But let's watch the goal again. And you could just feel it. The way they were coming off the bench, it felt like they were really going to give this an effort. A pass from Morissette down onto the half wall. That cross-icing pass is going to get redirected through the slot. I think Bianchini, and then sure enough, Colucci on the back door was able to pressure. I like the way they collapsed on the front of the net, looking for that rebound. Able to jam that home, made it 2-0 here to start the second period.
So, Alli Bianchini, who I don't think was originally given an assist on that second goal. Looks like she should have a 2-point night. And Edie Moritz on the assist. So the Beacons will go from right to left here in period number 2. And Castleton from left to right in the period of long change. And this is just such a crucial period for both of these sides because, again, me and my stats, Castleton especially, a little bit more so than UMass Boston, who's been able to come back in some games. Castleton is a really successful team, holding a lead, not so much when trailing this year. 8-2-1 when leading after 1, 9-1-1 when leading after 2, just 0-8 when trailing after 2. And it's also been the same way with scoring first, 12-3-1 when scoring first, just 1-9 when giving up the first goal, which they of course did in this contest.
Yeah, next goal is so crucial, and that's just not this game, that's hockey in general, but next goal is critical for both teams.
Picked up by Colucci behind her own net. She scored the Beacons' goal on the power play, just their second in their last 6 games. Kept in here by Castleton for the moment. Couple of Beacons joined by a couple of Spartans along the near boards, and it's controlled by Jocelyn Forrest. Beacon loses her stick behind the play. That was Colucci trying to get back in. Forrest still with it behind the net. Castleton will take a change with the puck still in the zone. Up top for Tverziak. Tverziak will send it for Forrest as Castleton did a nice job controlling the first 5 minutes of the first period, and they've held a slightly better edge here to start the second. Colucci whiffs on the pass, keeps control, tries to feed Morissette, who will just tip it out of the zone for the moment where it's picked up by Colucci. Lead pass finds Lund. Lund 1v2, a soft shot that bounces up into the glove, and a quick whistle there as there was no Beacon around. Our referees for today's contest, Chris Parsons and Denny
Surprised they
Bourgeois?
didn't make her play that, Seth. That was interesting. But, you know, hey, the one thing to look for here, we've seen the Beacons coast a little bit. They have a good first period, and then the second period, they allow the team to hang around. They coast a little bit. Got to watch here, especially the first 5 minutes. Would love to see them fire a little bit, really try to put this game away, maybe get a 3-0 lead. We have seen a tendency as a shot and a save there by Calm. We've seen a tendency at some points in the season where the second period has a little bit of coasting going on. They take their foot off the gas.
Yeah, that's one of the things that Lindsey Berman has said. Her team has failed to play a full 60 this year against Castleton. Struggled in that first period of game number 1, struggled in the second up at Castleton. As the Beacons have it behind the net, Katie Barry working against Tverzhiak. Barry was very good in the first period, drew a penalty against the Spartans, and then was out on the ice when the Beacons scored that power play goal to end the first. Tverzhiak, behind her own net, has Gauthier if she wants her. Instead, holds onto it for too long. Two Beacons pressure the puck, and it's kept alive by the Spartans. But they have a player go down in the form of Vasile. Up top, Grace Fisher, the sophomore from Virginia, for Sarah King. And back for Fisher, but the puck comes out of the zone.
Can still pin Castleton here if they're hurry.
3 players head to the bench. The Beacons have a chance for 4-on-2. It's Peacock centering in front, looking for the backside for Bianchini as a referee falls to the ice. And then all alone by herself is Allie Stevens, Conference Rookie of the Year, one-on-one with Mayed. And a right-handed shot is knocked down by the shoulder. Huge save from Rachel Mayed, and the Beacons have numbers the other way.
That could be a game-changing save, Seth. Huge save on the breakaway from Mayed.
Not the player you want to be left all alone. In fact, it was more of a 2-on-0, 3-on-0 with a couple Spartans the closest players to Stevens. And the Beacons fortunate as Rachel Mayet bails out her teammates.
Well, and a credit to Stevens on the change. Just crept behind the Beacons defense, just kind of sat there, waited for the puck to come to her. Knew she would be all alone if she got it. Sure enough, she did. Huge save from Mayet. That puck goes in, and the Beacons are on their heels. That's a big stop.
Kind of reminded me of the women's hockey gold medal game the other night. It was a 3-on-2 for Canada one way. The Beacons, rather the U.S., came back the other way, and it was Monique Lamoureux who was in on a 2-on-1. So often you see an odd man rush one way that doesn't work leads to an odd man rush the other way. Emily Harris has 2 defenders come her way, still holding on to the puck, goes all the way across, and Colucci does a nice job of keeping it in. Tees up a slap shot, knocked down, and kept alive by Morissette with that quick stick, somehow able to keep it in the zone. Jane Morissette, the Beacons' leading goal scorer. For Galucci, who turns it over in a bad spot, and Castleton will come up with the puck.
Yeah, unfortunate there. Nice play by Morissette to keep that puck onside. Thought puck had a chance of coming out there. She was able to stick handle around. Thought the Beacons might get a shot there, but a little bit of a turnover from Galucci as this puck's deflected wide.
Yeah, Mars' shot got tipped up high and connected off the glass. Stayed in, though. Luna's shot, fat rebound, falls to a Spartan stick as Morissette just overskated it. The other way, it's Hannah Rose. Rose's shot used the Beacon as a screen, but an easy save for Rachel Mayet. Picking it up is Lund, unable to clear the zone. And Lund chases after the puck. No one can find it for a while, and it's finally Moritz who will feed it behind for Lizzie Saxer. Saxer on one player, a second. Lizzie Saxer, not known for her offense, brings it into the zone, and then he'll dump it off and head back for the blue line. Trail feeding it ahead there. Finds Trevino, who's content to dump, and Castleton will get a couple new skaters. Almost 5 minutes gone by here in period number 2. The Beacons lead 2-0 on goals from Bianchini and Bree Colucci. Jane-Ann Drill from the top of the circle. Shot goes just high. Drill came back last week after an injury that kept her out for 8 games and continues to be an active defenseman and one of the Beacons' better offensive defensemen. Calling for it now. Instead, it's Fisher. Shot gets knocked down in traffic. Beauregard fighting to keep it alive and leaves it for Nolan. Nolan behind the cage, able to find Barry. Beacons top line looking for their first goal tonight. Barry weaves through traffic, and it's kicked aside by Collin.
Great shift here by the Beacons. A lot of pressure here. Really starting to stack their shifts. Starting to see a little bit of that momentum take over.
Trail took a lot of contact. No call from the referees. Brought into the zone by Kilroy. Kilroy, a fifth-year senior, missed all but 8 games in her first senior season. The program record holder for games played. Also in the top 5 for goals, assists, and points. King around the angle looking for a player just off the bench. Broken up there by Stevens, who had her shot blocked on a one-on-one with Mayet just minutes ago. To the blue line, Bree Colucci artist, 1 goal, and it's kept alive by Calm, holding on to it as that shot had eyes for the chest of Alexis Calm.
Yeah, 2 things here. We'll start with Drill. I really like the way Drill's playing. 2 times now where she's joined the rush or created opportunities on her own. And I'll tell you what, coming off an injury, anyone that's been injured knows there's a little bit of a trust factor. You're not quite sure what you're capable of doing. Saw 2 times today she's able to join the rush. Really like the second point, really like the way Bianchini's playing. She's got a nose for the net, as that one didn't miss by much, but she's got a nose for the net. She's using her speed to her advantage today, Seth, and you're taking a look already with a goal and an assist today. She might be due for more.
Colucci connected with the outside of the far post on that one. No icing here as Gallucci picked it up behind her own net. A nice kick save by Gallucci to keep the puck from getting down low, and it bounces past the defenseman. Beacon's there first. Rachel Peacock has 2 trailers, and it's picked up by Bianchini working on a 2-point night. Had the opening goal and an assist on the power play goal. Bianchini tried to slide it up top for Jetter. Instead, it's knocked away by Trevino, and the Beacons corralled in their own zone.
Some great shifts here by the Beacons, continuing the pressure, not allowing much for Castleton whatsoever, getting pucks deep and then pressuring. You see here again, going to try to pressure these forwards, sending their forwards right onto the puck carrier. Castleton able to clear there, but they've done a nice job on the forecheck.
Jocelyn Forrest loses the foot race with Jetter. Delayed offsides for the Spartans will have to touch up. Marin Brown, the Beacons' second-year captain and senior, able to corral it for Leffler. Beacons bring it out of the zone where it's picked up by Hannah Rose, the first-team all-conference defenseman. 2 first-teamers in this game. Morissette for the Beacons, Rose for the Spartans. Pair of seniors as Brown will send a soft shot in. Colin collects and will hold on to it with 12:35 to go. UMass Boston holding on to this 2-0 lead. And while the Beacons have yet to put up a goal here, it seems like a much better start to the second than we're used to seeing from a Beacons team that can be lackadaisical.
Yeah, it's something to take note of. Here we are almost halfway through the game. Just a solid first period. You know, I haven't seen that same spark we saw in the first period. They're still dominating this game, dominating in time of possession. Just doesn't have that same feel as we saw in the first period.
Grace Fisher from the blue line. Shot gets knocked down by Kilroy. Second effort knocked down by Rose. Pair of seniors trying to keep their careers alive. Rose feeds it ahead for Kilroy. Both players wearing letters on their jerseys. Kilroy evades Fisher. Centering feed. Glove down there by Jane-Ann Drill, the freshman from Wisconsin.
She can motor.
Drill around a player. Gets slowed down there. No interference called. There's a little bit of contact as Morissette left it for a teammate that wasn't there and then has to fight back to keep it alive.
It's a great play.
Picked up by Erica Lund, and it's fed back for Morissette. Up top for Fisher. Fisher can't find it amongst her skates, and Kilroy's unable to clear the zone. Nice job by Fisher to keep it alive. Behind the net, controlled there by Courtney Gauthier.
That was all hustle by Morissette on the sidewall there. That puck could have easily been cleared. Made the extra effort. This should go for icing.
It's not going to be icing because it's the Beacons.
Yeah, unfortunate there. I thought it might have a chance to keep that in. They've done a great job stacking shifts. That's about 5-6 shifts in a row now where they've dominated in possession. Not a ton of scoring opportunities, though. Castleton doing a nice job defending. Not a ton of chances on calm.
This one should go for an icing as it's cleared down the length, and UMass Boston will get it. The Beacons were so focused there on not getting called for too many players on the ice, like they were twice last week, that they set it down the pond. Yeah. Fortunately, we haven't seen too many of those.
I don't know if the coaches listened to the broadcast maybe after, but I had a few choice words for them, giving up too many players on the ice in one game.
I think both were in the first 2 periods as well.
That was bad.
Lizzie Saxer with it behind the net. Saxer, the sophomore, out of Colorado Springs, Colorado. Both of these teams in New England, obviously, as they play in the New England Hockey Conference, but they both recruit all over the United States and even internationally. A couple Canadians on the Spartans roster. Kept alive, and it's sent for Jocelyn Forrest, whose shot gets knocked down by Julia Nolan.
Yeah, nice block there. Always like to see a player willing to commit. You know, it's never fun trying to block a shot, but it's a necessary part of the game. You saw Nolan there able to eat one and then exit the zone.
Well, Nolan had a terrific freshman year in terms of offense, 7 goals and 9 assists. Scored just her second goal of her sophomore season last weekend in the 5-3 win over Salve Regina, but she's a player who will consistently see ice time because she is a great two-way player. Puck is loose along the red line, and it's corralled by Casey Trail. Trail trying to feed it ahead for a teammate. Instead, it ping-pongs back the other way. Trail with it once again, a blind no-look feed. King tangled up with a Castleton player. It's played off the boards. Beacons trying to rush there, but first it's Chanel Tverziak for the Spartans. Foot race going the other way. Vasile sends a shot from distance that's kicked away by Myatt behind her own net. And collected by Jane Ann Drill.
I had not seen a lot of rubber this period.
Not at
Always
all.
tough, yeah, always tough as a goaltender. You know, you try to stay warm. It's cold out there. You got to try to keep those muscles loose. I used to love skating around just a little bit, get a little bit of motion. Tough part of goaltending when you're not seeing a lot of rubber.
Beacon's fortunate to keep it in. The shot from Leffler. The rebound was bouncing around right in front of the net, but no Beacons were there. Keeping it alive is Peacock from her backhand shot goes just wide. Didn't get much behind it, and she gets knocked down to the ice.
Could have been a trip.
Bianchini, a big hit into the back of Kilroy.
Oh,
that one's
boy.
going to be called 99 times out of 100, and the Beacons are going to be on the PK for the second time today.
Yeah, you know, it's unfortunate. I think the refs perhaps missed the tripping call there on Peacock, and then literally the next moment, Bianchini takes a checking penalty, and now Castleton. Huge opportunity for Castleton. 9 minutes to play here. A 2-minute power play. The first we'll see of their power play today, but a huge opportunity. They could use a goal here, Seth, obviously.
Castleton, 5 of their last
Their
15.
second power play today.
Yeah.
They already had one. Never mind.
2
folks.
power play goals in each of their past 2 games.
Second power play.
The Beacons were able to draw a penalty against Castleton 90 seconds in. Castleton was limited to just a minute 30 on their first power play. Unsuccessful, obviously. They did not manage a shot as the Beacons PK did a great job. They've been red hot. Now 17 of their last 18 on the kill as Beauregard sends it right into the body of a Castleton player, and it's kept alive by the Spartans' Courtney Gauthier. Gauthier to the far side for Amy Briand, who looked like she was holding the stick there a bit of Galucci. Behind the net, it is Briand up top for Rose.
Watch
Rose
Kilroy.
from the top of the circle. She's dangerous. Puck loose, and it's put in. Let's see, was it Briand or Kilroy? I believe it is Briand. And Hannah Rose so good on the power play. That's her 16th assist and a wide open net for Amy Briand on the far side.
Yeah, it's a shot from distance here, Seth. You'll take a look. We'll show you the replay. Perhaps we can get it in before the next whistle, if not next chance we get. But it's going to be a shot from the point that's going to come out low to high. A little shot from maybe the top of the circle. I think Mayette made the initial save. A little bit of a rebound. 2 Castleton Spartans right on the front porch, and a goal to make this a 2-1 hockey game. Castleton right back up in it.
Well, Castleton needed that next goal if they were going to stay in this game as Mayette makes the save from distance. Now the question is, can the Beacons answer?
What's the response going to be? Shift after. You hear me talk about it all the time. What's the shift after for both teams?
Leffler takes some contact heading into the boards. Kept alive, and there's Jetter who's tripped, and the Beacons will go on the power play. Very nearly a one-on-one chance for Jocelyn Forrest, but the tripping call from behind, it's Parsons, the call from the back end. And let's take a look right now at that power play goal for Castleton before the Beacons go on the man advantage.
Yeah, you'll see the puck low to high there. It's going to be a shot from the top of the circle. You see a nice little move there at the blue line, gets Morissette to commit, and then a shot through. I think Mayette makes that stop. Maybe
I don't think
deflected.
it gets through.
I don't know if it even got through. Yeah, you take a look at the replay there. It might have not made its way all the way through, and that obviously the goaltender has to respect that initial shot. Mayette was already committed. The redirect and a tap home. No chance for Mayette. 2-1 hockey game, but a great opportunity for the Beacons here on the Castleton penalty.
Beacons 1 of 2 on the power play today on 4 total shots. It was Bree Colucci off a rebound as the Beacons will have minute 45 as they bring it in. Jane Morissette, who's been so good this year, up top for Colucci, who scored that goal. Moritz from the top of the circle, her shot off the shoulder of Calm there, who stood up, not that tall of a goalie, but able to make the high save. Moritz waiting. Will go back to the near side for Colucci. Colucci feeds Morissette, who's so dangerous at the top. Moritz, another shot deflected, and this one will come out of the zone as Morissette will win the foot race.
Castleton will pressure the strong side. So whatever puck the side is on, or whatever side the puck is on, rather, they will pressure, take away the passing options. It leaves the weak side wide open. Beacons need to recognize that, perhaps make a cross-ice pass.
Bianchini, a backhand shot from the slot just wide as the Beacons in the midst of a change. Second unit coming out there. Beauregard, their top player on the power play, trying to feed it through a sea of bodies, and it's knocked down. It'll come out of the zone only as far as the red line.
2 blocks there on this power play. That's been the difference. 2 opportunities for the Beacons. Both shots have been blocked.
Emily Harris on the far side, 45 seconds to go on the man advantage as her centering feed gets knocked down by Trail. Good aggressive work there by Beauregard to keep it alive, and Barry comes out of the far side with the puck. Nolan up top for Galucci, all the way to the far side. Barry can't quite handle the pass. Off the board, still 30 seconds to go. Beacons choose the far side. Nolan's shot and the rebound comes to the near side as Barry gets knocked into the back of the net.
Good pressure here by the Beacons set. They've got a tired Castleton team.
Beauregard in tight, and she roofs the shot high. May have been deflected by a Spartan stick.
That should stay inside. That was deflected, absolutely. And a good chance for Beauregard there, right in the slot. Thought she was going to get an opportunity to get that shot on net. It was deflected up into the netting, and still 15 seconds on this power play, and it'd be interesting. Let's see if they continue with the power play unit.
They're going to bring their second line
yeah,
out
they'll go with the line of 15 seconds left. You don't want to keep your power play unit out there. Just go with the standard line.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very good line. 2 of the 3 players play on the power play, and as Lund will have a shot tipped wide. Kilroy coming over to the far side as Castleton looks to kill off the power play after they just scored a power play goal to cut the deficit to 2-1, and we're back to 5-on-5. Jeter ahead for Morissette, whose pass is knocked away by Kilroy. Jeter, a blind no-look pass intercepted there by Selena Bailey. Bailey trying to feed a player coming on. Rosa's high shot is knocked down, and that one hit Moritz right in the chest as
I think it got her hand. Oh, boy. I hope she's all right. That's tough. You know, you go to block a shot, and your natural reaction is to turn your glove over, Seth, and it opens up the palm, and I think it caught her right in the palm.
That left
they've
hand.
Been trying, yeah, they've been trying, and she'll get some looks there. I think she's all right. Might have only maybe nicked, but hopefully part of the padding. But, boy, I've seen a lot of players break a hand doing that. You try, it's a natural reaction, right? Turn your hand over. They've been trying to teach players go out with the top of your glove, get it on the padding there, but looks like Moritz is all right.
Moritz talks to Tessa Martin, but no real attendance there from the Beacons trainers. Those two have a laugh. Beacons played high off the boards, kept in by Forrest. Forrest from the circle, shot deflects wide off a Beacon. Give Ariel Gallucci credit for that shot block.
Haven't seen her a lot today. Haven't mentioned a lot of Gallucci today. She's usually a bigger factor than this. She needs to pick it up a little bit, I think.
She hasn't had her best game thus far, at least in my opinion, as Forrest can't find it amongst her skates, just barely able to keep it in. 5:15 to go. Speaking of defensemen, make sure to stick with us in the second period. Not only should we have a live interview with Lindsey Berman with audio, we also anticipate having Alexa Capione, former Beacons captain and defenseman, joining us here on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
Cappy the Cappy will be joining us. Can't wait to interview her.
Had a tremendous senior season as the Beacons won their first ever conference title, out here supporting some of her former teammates and her former program as Lund gets held, and there goes, or that's actually King, not Lund. Pair of redheads, and we're going to see a hooking call against the Spartans. The Beacons will get another chance here, their 4th of the game. This is good news for UMass Boston, who could use a little bit of spark here with under 5 to go in the period.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's been a fairly even period, and I think the fact that Castleton has the only goal in the period, you probably give the nod to them in terms of who's got the advantage right now. Obviously, still a 2-1 lead for the Beacons, but a great opportunity. They scored late in the first period. This is a great opportunity here in the second period to get back that 2-goal lead. 2 minutes here, 4:44 left to play in the period.
Well, Matt, bad news if you're a Spartans fan. Already, you're pretty short as a Castleton player loses their stick. That's trail. No call coming against the Beacons for potential interference. Courtney Gautier is the player in the box. That's one of your 5 defensemen.
Yeah.
So a little bit more tired legs potentially for this Castleton group that has just 5 defensemen available. Up top, and the shot from Gallucci gets very little of it, loses it amongst her skates. Great effort from Nolan to keep it in the zone, and Gallucci just barely keeps it in.
Nice keep. Good move by Gallucci. Way to make me eat it.
Able to minimize the potential damage there as Gallucci once again fighting to keep it in, and
Another
she
one.
does so.
Great
work
work
there against Amy Briand, who scored the power play goal.
Great work.
Already 40 seconds gone by. The Beacons have had it in the zone the entire time, just haven't done anything with it. Beauregard up top for Gallucci. Gallucci shot through traffic, knocked down by Tverziak, but Gallucci able to make a knee save to keep it in the zone.
Yeah, Castleton's doing a really nice job of blocking shots. That's 4 or 5 now shots that have gotten through but that have been blocked, and that's been the difference on this power play. Beacon's not doing a good enough job getting pucks through to the goaltender. And now an in-zone draw. That'll cost you. That right there, that little play, that's worth maybe 15, 20 seconds on the power play. And with only 54 seconds left, it's costly. You know, an in-zone draw there, now you got to win a defensive draw. You got to take it all the way down the ice. That's 15, 20 seconds potentially, Seth.
Yeah, the Beacon's fortunate as Amy Briand was trying to bait Brie Gallucci into potentially giving up the puck, leading to a shorthanded chance. UMass Boston has given up 5 shorthanded goals this year. They've also scored 5 shorthanded goals, including one against Castleton here in the first meeting. Beacons in the 5-across formation, able to bring it in the zone with 40 seconds. Bianchini, her pass to the center's knocked down, a chance to clear, and it's kept alive by Gallucci. Morissette up top, looking for her 11th goal in 11 games, and Skinner's just wide. Moritz back for Morissette. Beacons have a couple of players whose names are very close. Doesn't make our job easy up top. It's Colucci to the far side for Moritz. Moritz in front for Bianchini, who tips it wide.
Oh.
Didn't get the tip she was looking for.
I think she corrals that puck. She gets a shot on goal there, no doubt.
Morissette a soft shot, looking to get a screen in front from Brown. Just couldn't put it through the 5-hole. Down to 5 seconds to go on the man advantage. Beacons dig it out. Morissette sends it wide. Come off the boards. Castleton still slow to get an extra player out there, so the Beacons have the advantage for the moment. Now we're at 5-on-5. 2:35 to go in the period. Picked up by Edie Moritz. Been out there for a while. Finds Beauregard. The shot gets deflected by a Spartan in front. That was Hannah Rose.
That's a solid change by the Beacons. They got a tired Castleton Spartans team out there. A little bit of a, looked like that might have been able to be called there for a penalty. Beacons can still, if they can limit the change here, they're not going to be able to. Castleton will get a full change here, but they really had them pinned. That was a tired unit out there.
Beauregard and Barry can't connect, allowing Kilroy to pick it up for the Spartans. Hard off the boards for her fellow senior Rose. Kept alive by Galucci, who will shoot it over for Katie Barry, who can't hold on. Allie Stevens, who was brick-walled earlier on the period in a breakaway to keep the game at 2-0, loses the puck, and it's loose in the Castleton offensive end. Kilroy down low for Stevens, overskates it. Jane Ann Drill is there for the Beacons, feeds it along the boards. Beauregard picks it up, and now she'll look to get around, uses her speed. Kaleigh Beauregard has a player in front, that's Barry, can't find the pass, shoots it just wide. Katie Barry misses by inches. Coming just off the bench, it's Leffler with speed. Leffler the turnaround shot off the skate of a defenseman, and the Beacons feed it through the center once again, unable to connect.
Well, a great opportunity there from Beauregard. It was passed all the way. She televised it, was able to get it through, did not miss by much on the backdoor try, but a great opportunity from the Beacons there.
Jane Ann Drill keeps it in right along the blue. Behind the net for Brown, who centers it just a little bit high there for Emily Harris, who had to knock down the puck and then try to take a shot. Beacon's fourth line has looked really good. They haven't seen as many shifts as the other three, but they've been able to create. As a Beacon is going to be called for a penalty, and that's going to be a Leffler once the Beacons touch up. 55 seconds left, and Castleton has a chance to tie it up after the Beacons. Maybe a little bit lazy there as Leffler threw out the stick instead of moving the feet.
Yeah, a little bit too much stick work there, and
they're going to call Harris instead of Leffler.
Yeah, Harris on the tripping call, and oh boy, if you're Beacons. 2-1 here, but with 53 to play, this is a little bit of the reverse of what we saw in the first period, because Beacons had a power play, were able to capitalize on it to make it 2-0. Now 2-1. Castleton with the same opportunity here. 2 minutes on the minor, and they win the draw.
Beacons scored 2 power play goals the last time they faced Castleton. Castleton a chance for their second here as the centering feed comes all the way out. Either way, Castleton has a chance to make this a 2-2 game or start the third on the power play unless the Beacons can get a shorthanded goal. And here's the player to do it. Jane Morissette, 1v3. Backhand shot that Colm has little trouble with. 30 seconds to go in the period. Castleton will have about a minute to go on the power play if they don't score here in the final 25 seconds. Kilroy with it, double team, sends it out top for Rose, already with 1 assist in the period. Back for Kilroy from the far circle. Shot gets knocked down, second effort knocked down by her own teammate. Colucci tries to clear and fails to do so. Rose with 10. Over for Kilroy, given space in the far circle. Back up top for Hannah Rose. Shot gets knocked down. Good work from Beauregard. Flip to the slot, and it'll be Colucci clearing. But UMass Boston unable to capitalize here in the second. I don't think that they necessarily didn't play a great game, but not enough. And now we see a 1-goal third period in which anything could happen.
Yeah, that's a comeback period for the Spartans. Did a really nice job. It was a fairly even period, the 1 goal being the difference. You saw there late Beauregard with a nice block there, and Beacons were able to clear. Castleton was pressuring. And you see, I tell you what, we knew this was coming going into the game, that this was going to be close. Now we're 2-1 going into the third period. It's going to be interesting, Seth. I think this is probably where the Beacons really want to make sure that they take advantage of their matchups. They're going to have a tired Castleton team that's a little bit shorthanded. Really want to make sure that they go into this period focused, understanding their roles and understanding they're going to get opportunities here. Got to capitalize on it. 2-1 lead at home in your playoffs. You've got to make sure you've got tough D. Allow Mayette to make her saves, be able to see the puck. Going to be an interesting intermission here.
So David Wahlberg is elected not to go down after his technical difficulties the first time around.
Oh, Dave's out.
So right now we'll take a look at the women's basketball highlights from last night. Earn a trip to the LEC championship game for the third time in 4 years with a 61-46 win. After that, we'll come back with an interview with former Beacon great Alexa Capion, a proud member of the alumni who are out here to support UMass Boston women's hockey today.
Entry down to the block. Passing to the lane. Kicked up top. 3 ball from on high. Is good. Good looking shot there by Raven Kelsey. Ball up top now. 3-pointer from straight on is up and good. Joey Grussi. Nicely. Goes into the lane. Left-hander blocked inside. Good defense by Osborne, and the ball go over to the Beacons. Good entry pass, inside out. Another 3-pointer from the right side. That one is good. Katie Howland out to the wing for Vital. Across the left and brought up top. Deep 3 this time. Good shot right down the middle by Vital. 13 with 1:07 remaining in the quarter. 3 and another one. Anything you can do, I can. Jelani Jackson backs it up, now goes to the dribble, steps through, passes to the wing. Do we have another? Yes, we do! Back-to-back threes for Meg. Foul is the second one on Chantel Eels, so that may force Samantha Allen. Samantha Allen looks like an outstanding coach. It was a good move anyway, but when you get those moments, you hope for the payoff. Didn't get it there. Instead, it costs you 3 back the other way. Chop the deficit down a little bit. Palindrome on the scoreboard right now at 32-23. Poked away. Chance to chase down the steal, and a tremendously athletic play by Vital. In a game like this low scoring, when you've got a double-digit lead and you're on a neutral site, really no reason you should lose if you're UMass Boston, and they've certainly taken that. Backside 3, up and good. UMass Boston pouring it on. Katie Matthew with her first triple. She's got that third shot at UMass Dartmouth tomorrow. Winner of that game gains automatic qualification into the NCAA tournament. Backside 3, Vital's got that corner. Good entry pass down to Kelsey. They go inside out. Good passing. Haven't had an open shot yet, though. Bounce pass. Williams puts up the jumper and knocks it down.
I mean, they haven't really let Southern Maine creep back too much. They've hung around a little bit, but not really in any danger zone.
Kelsey just stealing the ball whenever she feels like it. Throw out to the left side here. 3-pointer up and good. Megan Dixon knocks it down. She's now got 18 on the night. Disproportionate. Keene ended up hosting ECAC stuff over and over and over again in various sports. As Dixon steps passing here by the Beacons to use clock. Kick to Osborne. Her baseline jumper is good, and that'll do. Ball loose, and you just got to hope these 3 seconds go by without a foul, and they do. So UMass Boston gets the win tonight by a final score of 61-46.
We're here on the second intermission report. Alexa Capion, Alyssa Sullivan, Maureen Bradley joining us on the intermission report. And ladies, what a game today, 2-1 going into the third period. What's your assessment? We'll play past the mic a little bit.
Okay.
What are you expecting for the third period here?
Right now, I say they're playing very well. Rachel had some big saves this period. I think they need to get a couple security goals.
I would think so.
Just to, secure the win here. But it's exciting. It's exciting to be at home. This is the first time it's ever been at home for a semifinal game, so that's pretty cool.
Yep.
We're just glad we're not at Norwich. So hopefully we can get some more goals and secure this win.
No doubt about it. Got to earn the right to get there, right? Sully, what are you seeing out there?
I think they're playing really well. There's a lot of new faces I don't recognize, but my thing for them is probably getting more shots to the net.
True.
They've had a lot blocked, but if they can get those to the net, I think they'll be golden.
That's pretty good analysis. I'm going to take the mic away from you and give it to Bradley because you're going to take my job if we continue there. Mo, what are you seeing? Goaltending. Mayette's played pretty well, but so is Colm.
Yeah, no, these are two really good goalies, also co-coaches of the year against each other. So the big third period, it's going to be what team is coached best ready going into this game.
Yeah, no doubt. And we'll talk a little bit about the program, the growth of the program here. I think, obviously a team made it all the way, right? We a little bit of banner, a couple codfish wins, and made it to the NCAA. So talk about a little bit about the growth of the program and how this team has grown.
I think, my freshman year, their sophomore year, we kind of just went into playoffs. We went into playoffs every year, but we just went in showing up. We never went in thinking, okay, we can win.
Yeah.
But I think when I won my senior year and last year and how well we've been doing these past few years, we're going into playoffs thinking, okay, we're not showing up. We're showing up to win, and we're going to come out with the championship.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. You could see it, too, with a little bit of the confidence there, the way the team came out today playing Castleton, and obviously a good team in their own right. But let's get some updates. What are we doing now? We're no longer playing, although I think there's a rumor going around that there's some current, I don't know if we could call it men's league, but a couple teammates here, right? You two are playing on the same team?
Yeah, me and Kathy play on the same women's league team as well as Emily Howard.
Nice.
It's good to still be out there. I mean, it's not as competitive, but it's fun. So
nice. And Mo, anything?
I fill in on Sundays every once in a while.
There we go. Okay,
Last time I
perfect.
played here, it was the alumni game, and Berm asked me if I was injured, so I'm not doing so hot anymore.
Good to know. Well, ladies, thank you very much for joining us. We look forward to a third period, and good luck with the rest of the season. Hopefully we see you. I don't know if we'll have any more home games, but go Beaks.
Yeah,
we'll be back after this.
Thank you.
The University of Massachusetts Boston. It's just minutes from downtown, and the Princeton Review calls it one of the best values in the country. A nationally recognized institution of academic excellence and research, UMass Boston offers more than 150 undergraduate and graduate programs, 16 Division III sports, and more than 100 student organizations. To learn more about the opportunities waiting for you at UMass Boston, visit in person or online. UMass Boston, a research university with a teaching soul.
Celebrate the soggy shoes and the slow starts. Celebrate the lessons learned along the way. These are the wins. Not the shiny, nail-biting kind. These are the last a lifetime kind.
And welcome back. No audio issues this time, so clearly I'm
Nice.
learning.
You did a good job there, Seth.
Yeah, potentially last game of the winter season that we're hosting this year. And it took me that long to figure out how to put my microphones in and out. Right now, let's take a look at the scoring summary. The bad news to the Beacons is that the only goal came from Castleton in the period. The good news is they still hold a 2-1 lead. Amy Bryan with the power play goal at 11:27. Hannah Rose the assist. Beacons with 2 goals in the first period. That second period has been a thorn in the Beacons' side for most of this regular season and now into the postseason.
Yeah.
But in a better spot than they were a week ago against a better team this time. And really it comes down to 20 minutes at home. Can you hold a 1-goal lead?
If you, going into the game, if you told this Beacons team they'd be up 2-1 going into the third period, I think you have to take that. You knew this game was going to be close. This wasn't going to be a blowout. The one thing I'd like to see the Beacons get back to is being a little bit more aggressive in the way that they're approaching the forecheck. I saw it in the first period. They were really pestering and really just not giving Castleton much of anything, not only on the forecheck, but in the neutral zone. We saw a couple turnovers. They were able to convert those into scoring opportunities. Didn't see a lot of that in the second period. It was a little bit more passive. I think Beacons maybe have been playing to the lead a little bit, and when that tends to happen with any team, when you get the lead, you try to think, okay, now let's hold on to it, right? Let's grasp it. We'll play tight D. Oftentimes, it's better to just continue what you're doing, and I think they got away from that a little bit in the second period. We'd like to see them with a little bit more aggressive nature. Now, don't forget, still a minute 7 on that power play to start. And the key for the Beacons is obviously going to be to kill that off, but then the shift after. What's going to be the response after that kill? Especially if you give up a goal there, Seth, it's still 2-2. Got to have a good response. So it'll be interesting to see the start to this third.
Let's take a look right now at the statistics. Through 2 periods of play, the Beacons led in shots after 1. They've extended their lead by a little bit, 24-15 through 2 periods. Face-offs are huge right now. Beacons are 21 of 32. You always focus on that, especially in a close game.
Yep.
Both teams' power plays. They've gotten one chance for a second one for Castleton right now. This is huge right now, though, for UMass Boston. They've outshot Castleton consistently this season. The faceoffs have typically gone the other way in the first two meetings. To win faceoffs means you not only can potentially break down a potential chance for the other team in your defensive end, but you can set up some plays right off the draw, and it's been Edie Moritz who's had a really good game.
Yeah, Moritz, 11 wins, only 2 losses on the faceoff dot. That's something to know. Now, the thing, if I'm a coach, I'm taking a look at who's doing well in the faceoffs. You're winning them as a team, but that's something where whether it's on the defensive side or the offensive side, you got to know who your best center is tonight. And it looks like it's Moritz, 11 wins. That's a lot of wins.
17 of 21 from Moritz and Sarah King. The Beacons' other centers aren't having great days. Amy Bryan, who's one of 3 players who's taken one. Remember, they only have 3 centers.
Yeah.
She's 7 of 16. The other 2, Forrest and Babiars, are just 4 of 12. So clearly,
something to note. Got to make sure you have your top forward out there, especially late in the game. If it's close. More so, and you always focus on the offensive side, but obviously the defensive side, right? Got to make sure you have the right center out there. And the other thing, too, I think the defense has done a nice job of maintaining coverage, especially on these power plays from the Spartans. I think they've done a good job in front. Other than they made it, the one goal was blocked, and then I guess what would technically be a little bit of a rebound or a redirect in. But they've done a nice job. Other than that, which cost them, they've done a really good job in front of the net. I think they're clearing out well. They're allowing Mayette to see the majority of the shots. A couple blocks, too, late there. Beauregard with a couple blocks. So Beacon's doing a nice job on the penalty kill, and obviously want to limit the amount of penalties they take, but the penalty kill seems to be doing its job today.
Right now, let's take a look around the rest of Beaconville. Not a ton of updates for you, as the women's basketball game just underway. Game started at 4 p.m. Beacons were leading by a single point at the first media timeout. We'll try to keep you updated on that one as the Beacons women's basketball team looks for their first ever NCAA tournament appearance, 24-3 versus 24-3 UMass Dartmouth. Men's hockey on later on tonight. Before we take a look at the highlights, let's take a look around the rest of the conference. Not a huge surprise, Norwich with the lead. The bigger surprise is it's just a single goal through 40 minutes. So maybe a little bit better of a game than we expected, with all the numbers pointing towards a Norwich victory.
Interesting. Very interesting. Still a close game. Never know. It's Kreitzberg. Such a tough place to play, though, both men and women. Anytime you have a lead, you much rather be playing with the lead than trying to capture it. But still, Plymouth State keeping it close.
Winner of today's game would play Norwich if Norwich won. Of course, if Plymouth State pulled off the massive upset, the winner of today's game would host, as Plymouth State is the lowest seed still remaining. Right now, let's take a look at the highlights from period number 2. Just the one goal to show you. That was Castleton's. A couple of good chances for both sides as well.
Yeah, we'll run it here. And you take a look early on, Castleton with a steal. This is going to lead to a breakaway. And just a really tough, this is a tough save early on in the period. You're coming out of the locker room. Mayette just with a good read, right? You see her standing her ground there, really not trying to guess too much there, reading the play as it comes to her. Just a really big save from Mayette there. And then the Beacons here, a little bit, it'll get a shot on goal here. As this shot comes through, a good shot and a save by Colm. There's a little bit of a rebound, just no one there to tap it in. Castleton would come down, and here's the goal. This puck's going to come low to high. And you'll see Morissette's going to bite there. A little bit of a curl. That created a little bit of a gap. This shot's going to get blocked on the way through, but the rebound lands right on a Castleton stick. Briard with a goal there was able to tap it home. That made it 2-1. Beauregard coming down. This is a nice shot here. She's going to corral this puck right through the slot, and it gets deflected. A really good scoring opportunity. That's prime real estate for any type of forward. Any type of forward is going to tell you that's where they want the puck. Just got deflected up into the netting, and then Beacons late in the period with a chance to score here. Weren't able to capitalize on it. We're at 2-1 going into the third period.
A minute and 10 to go before the start of period number 3. A minute and 7 seconds on the power play for Castleton to start. How huge is this for both sides? Potential power play goal, a potential penalty kill in terms of grabbing the momentum to start the third period.
Yeah, the power play unit, you get gypped a little bit because the face-off automatically at center ice, so you lose a couple seconds there. But it's massive. I mean, you know, the Castleton, the Spartans got to be building on that second period. It was much better than they played in the first period. The possession clock was still in favor of the Beacons, but obviously only had the goal of the period, and a 2-1 hockey game going into the third period. If they're able to score here, they're going to have a ton of momentum for a good portion of this period. This is a big moment in the hockey game. Beacons have to find a way to clear it.
And not to get off topic real quick, but women's basketball, after their best start of the year against UMass Dartmouth, they lead 19-12 after 10 minutes. as it was Joey Grassi with 10 points on 4 of 6 shooting to lead the Beacons. Beacons looking to upset their rival, who was the number 1 seed, beat the Beacons by 30 at UMass Dartmouth in the first meeting, 15 in Boston about 3 weeks later, their third meeting in about 2 months. As the Beacons will go from left to right, Castleton from right to left. Remember, Castleton, all of their other sports will be joining the Little East Conference next year as the Beacons win the face-off. Colucci knocks it down as we'll see a lot more of this Castleton green here at the Clark Athletic Center in the coming years, not just on the ice. As Colucci will dump it in once again, 2 dumps, and already 17 seconds killed off. Castleton yet to set up.
Yeah, a really good forecheck here. You see Beauregard and Morissette really just countering each other, forcing Castleton, giving him a tough time going north with this puck. They should be able to get it in here, but nice job on that forecheck.
Down to 35 seconds. The Spartans have already seen 32 come off. Beauregard unable to clear the zone there, and a nice job by Gauthier to keep it alive. Brienne back out for Gauthier, top of the circle, shot knocked down by Galucci, and she clears. Castleton 1 of 3 thus far. They have just 1 shot on goal. They've struggled against this Beacons group.
Yeah, nice job. Galucci there, using her hand, but knocks it down, able to clear, get the change. Nice work by her.
No game tomorrow. You can ice it and get ready for next Saturday if you win this one. As Rose can't keep it in, that should just about do it. This Beacons penalty unit that had allowed just 1 power play goal in their last 5. They gave up 1 earlier, but a good kill there to get back to 5-on-5 with 19 minutes remaining in regulation.
And you need a good shift here to reset the lines. You just came off the power play, or the penalty kill rather. You got to reset the lines. Both teams do, actually.
Well, the Beacons aren't resetting their lines at this point. Harris, Barry, and Moritz out there to start. Now Leffler joins. The Beacons are going to send that 4th unit out there as soon as Barry heads to the bench. She'll be replaced by Brown. Harris off the boards, ahead for Leffler, who took that penalty. Oh, actually, it was Harris who took the penalty. I still thought that it was Leffler who committed it. But either way, the Beacons back to 5-on-5. Nice job by Fisher breaking up the play right at her own blue line. Kick down by Harris for Saxer. 18 minutes to go between one of these teams and a trip to the NEHC championship game potentially. Of course, we would go to overtime, and it would be sudden death overtime. No shootout in this tournament. We could see multiple extra sessions if it got there. Brown trying to feed it back to the blue line. Instead, it's knocked down and comes out of the zone. Nice work from the Spartans. Trevino takes an odd carom right over to the Beacons. Bianchini, who had 2 points in the first period. Right now, her assist on that power play goal for UMass Boston, the difference. Bree Colucci with what would be the game-winning goal. Castleton will make a change as the Beacons collect behind their own net with Jane Ann Drill. Jane Ann bullies her way through a Spartan to get it out, but the Spartans get it right back in with Kilroy. She's the player Matt has identified as the player to watch for Castleton. Fisher up the boards perfectly onto the stick of Peacock, who gets help from Bianchini behind. Bianchini loses it and overskates it there as it'll go the other way with Drill able to feed it over for Peacock off the deflection.
Kept Kilroy pretty contained today, Seth. You know, we've mentioned her a little bit. She's been around the puck, but I think Beacons have done a really good job limiting what she's had access to. Really not a lot of chances for her to really get anything of a scoring opportunity, and she's been pestered today. Beacons obviously aware of who she is. A good save there by Mayette.
On Kilroy.
On Kilroy. Very timely. But you can see there, even there, that's a shot from distance. Mayette's going to make those saves. And you can see the Beacons, not giving her much. Didn't have much other option other than to fire that on net. It's kind of been the way that today has gone for the Spartan, the leading goal scorer for the Spartans.
16:38 to go in regulation. Castleton wins the offensive zone draw. Working with it there is Selena Bailey. Bailey over for Jocelyn Forrest, the top scorer amongst all the non-top line forwards. Shot from Trail, doesn't get through. Maya thought it was behind her, but there was a sea of bodies in front. And this one will be kept in by Rose for a moment. And now we'll go the other way, just out of the reach of Nolan. It's a foot race, and Nolan beats Trail the puck, wiping out a potential icing call.
Yeah, Beauregard just missed her on the pass. She would have sprung Nolan for a breakaway, just missed her.
Nolan comes out with it and tries to send a shot inside the near post. Puck was loose in front for Beauregard, who couldn't get a stick on it. And the Beacons will send a couple players off as it's sent out to center ice for Saxer. Lizzie will be content to dump it down low, picked up by Casey Trail. Trail, one of 2 Spartans on the all-rookie team. This is a Castleton team that playing with just 10 forwards and 5 defensemen. Maybe a little bit tired out, but they're trying to keep their season alive as Collin doesn't know where the puck is, and trying to poke it in was Morissette. We've seen some goals in the past where the Beacons just keep poking and eventually get it. This time the referee blows the whistle.
Yeah, shot from distance. Not sure Colm got a good read on it. Clearly looking around, trying to find out where it was. Even looked behind her, thought it might have been trickling in. Was able to corral it on the side of the net.
We've seen both of these goalies look behind them here in the third. No goals thus far for either side. 4.5 minutes gone by. Beacon still leading 2-1. It was 2-0 after 1, but Castleton the lone goal, a power play tally in the second. Gauthier, a defenseman leading the rush here. Morissette able to feed it back for Saxer. Saxer, good speed around one player. Now she cuts back to the near side and feeds it off for Lund. Lund hard off the boards. The Beacons will get 4 new skaters out there. Erica Lund, the only player who stays on as she leads the forecheck there, and the pass gets through a couple of Beacons. Stick gets knocked out of the hands there of a Spartan, no call. Colucci leading the rush. Scored what would be the game-winning goal, but has that one knocked down. And then Marin Brown couldn't keep it in. Good news is that Colucci and Fisher are back for UMass Boston, working against Vasile.
Yeah, Marin tried to one-time it there on the blue line. Lost her footing, but a good job by the Beacons getting back.
Bryan in front, can't get the shot off. Able to keep it alive, though. Amy Bryan, one of the leading scorers in the entire conference, feeds it ahead, and the shot gets knocked off of Colucci, who's not having her best offensive game, but she's had some huge shot blocks tonight.
Well, ever since we called her out, she's really stepped up there as this puck will get deflected out of play. Ariel doing a great job blocking that shot. We mentioned, didn't really mention her name too much in that first period, but since then she's been doing a great job defensively. A couple blocks in this game, and you saw the one there. That was a grade A scoring opportunity, and Galucci, or actually.
And that was on Kilroy.
Yeah, it was Kilroy. Her best opportunity, Kilroy's best opportunity, low in the slot there, and Galucci with a nice block, and then able to deflect the puck out of play, get a change.
Beacons win the faceoff that comes just outside their own zone. Drill can't hold on to it, gets some help from Fisher. Freshman and a sophomore out there along the Beacons blue line. Bianchini just enough to get out of the zone, and then it's flung off the body of Fisher. Puck comes out for a second time and dumped down low as Castleton will get 2 new skaters out there. 6 minutes gone by in what's been a cagey start to the third period. Castleton with the better chances thus far as UMass Boston tries to avoid just holding on and actually look for a little bit of offense. Drill into the zone. Peacock heads to the net. Drill shot tipped up high and wide. Peacock first player to it for either side. Rachel Peacock tries to hold on to it. Able to find Fisher, who leaves it for Nolan. Nolan from the blue line. Backhand feed that's knocked down. It'll come out of the zone. Barry gets a perfect tip that'll go all the way down low, and the Beacons have a chance for some forecheck pressure. Back to the far side, working with it is Remillard.
Got to watch your matchups here too, Seth. You know, take a look. Still plenty of time, 13 minutes left, but as this period gets later and later, you got to really, if you're a coach on either side, obviously co-coaches of the year, but got to pay attention to who's out there and what your matchups are going to be. Every shift becomes more and more critical.
I mean, obviously, Castleton's top line is their scoring line. Do you see one line as being the Beacons' best defensively?
It's been, it's changed a little bit. You know, I really thought the third line was going to have a big – the fourth line's played well. I thought the third line was going to have a big day today, but it's really been that fourth line that's been a surprise. The top 2 lines have been consistent as they have been all season.
I really like the Beacons' second line because of Moritz taking faceoffs, but also Edie Moritz is at her best when she's playing defenses. This will go for an icing. Such a good penalty killer.
Here you go. They're going to go with that second line, it looks like. So, good analysis from you, Seth.
Occasionally – a blind man guesses right.
You get a couple good ones, huh?
As it will be Moritz, has 3 options behind her, potentially looking for Colucci, who scored a goal. Instead, she finds Lund from the slot. Shot gets knocked down, and the rebound just a little bit too far for Lund to corral originally. It's kept in there by Galucci. Dangerous pass that gets all the way through. Colucci, a turnaround shot that's whipped wide. Lund has Morissette in the slot. She tips it wide. Beacon's second unit generating some chances, nothing on target quite yet. Beacons outshot Castleton widely in the first 2 periods, +9 on the day, but I don't know if they've had more than 1 shot on goal thus far in the first 8 minutes of the third.
Yeah, Castleton just clogging the middle. You saw there a couple opportunities for the Beacons trying to get it to the front of the net, but Castleton doing a good job on coverage.
Lund has Morissette, instead keeps it herself, and it's knocked away by Rolls. A little bit too selfish there by Erica Lund.
I think you got to try to find Morissette there. You got Morissette going back door on that 2-on-1. Lund with another opportunity.
Lund a chance to redeem herself, skates it out wide. Casey Trail is all over her, and Lund eventually loses the puck. Does kill off about 10-12 seconds as we're down to 11:30 to go in regulation. Can the Beacons hold on, or is there another goal tonight for UMass Boston? Kilroy able to hold on to the puck through traffic. She will send it down low, and the Spartans will give chase. Bree Colucci there first. Colucci, a little bit of contact, able to feed it ahead for Leffler. Leffler trying to chase it down as there's a big bump right in front of us. Emily Harris and a Spartan, that was Tverziak, who both go down right at the red line. Bringing it into the zone. That's Allie Stevens, the Rookie of the Year, who was stoned by Mayette back in the second. Shot from Gauthier, tipped wide by a teammate right in the slot. Harris will slow it down, and then a backhand feed all the way through. Just off the bench, Peacock says, oh, hello, but she's stripped of the puck. Gauthier showing pretty good stick work for defenseman, and she'll come all the way to the near side and then head back to the blue line after she dumped it down low. Jane Andrill stripped in a bad spot, coming into the zone. Shot from distance. Monroe sends it just wide, and Mayette will cover up. So we're almost midway through this period.
Yeah, and you can see Drill shaking her head. That's a bad turnover, and she's fortunate that that didn't cost her. A turnover in that type of spot, Seth, you know it, can be very costly. And Castleton was in the midst, finishing a change. Had that been a complete change, might have been a different story, but you can see Drill a little disappointed with turning the puck over there, and Mayette, with a good read, able to jump on that puck, get a whistle, get a change.
Beacons fighting for it along the far side. Update from Dartmouth. Beacons women's basketball team up by 9 now, 26-17 with 4 minutes to go in the first half. Both teams looking for their first ever LEC tournament title on the women's basketball side. These two teams looking to get to the NEHC championship. Castleton still looking for their first NEHC title. Beacons looking for their second in 3 years. Peacock into the zone at the far circle, being badgered there by Rose. Rachel Peacock trips up on her own right, and it's tipped up over her head as she falls to the ice, and it's Casey Trail with it. Tall freshman defenseman feeds it ahead for Remillard. Over to the near side, it's picked up and now lost by Basile. Castleton's got to be tiring a little bit. Just 10 forwards and 5 defensemen for this postseason contest.
And especially the final 10 minutes here, got to get pucks deep. If you don't have a good passing option, just fire that in the zone. Make Castleton have to go 200 just to get a scoring opportunity. It'll pay off in the long run.
Forrest whiffs on the clearance. The Beacons make Castleton pay. Chance from the slot, tipped just out of the reach of Beauregard, who is one of the Beacons' top scorers.
And you'll play this game all day, forcing Castleton to have to play defense. You'll play this all day if you're the girls in white. Just getting pucks deep and forcing them to have to block shots and clog those areas, not really allowing much on the offensive side of the puck.
11 minutes gone in what thus far has been a ho-hum third period. Neither team with a ton of great chances. Beacons, a poor decision there. It's going to go for an ice, and the Beacons have probably had 6, maybe 7 of them today, and this will lead to a Castleton offensive draw. Got to expect the top unit will be out there, and they're right out there right now. The trio of Kilroy, Briand, and Stevens, 3 top goal scorers on this team.
Got to make that pass if you're Nolan. Now she made a little mistake there on the icing. She can make up for it here on the faceoff. Got to try to win this to the wall. She had Colucci, but she lost it.
Yeah, it was Brian winning it back to Rose. Stevens tries to send it back for Brian. Along the boards, 2 Beacons meet her there. And behind the net, Colucci will meet Kilroy. Flips it around. Katie Barry's there first. Barry unable to get it past a Spartan. Now for the far side, Stevens' shot gets tipped up high. That was actually Brian, 11 instead of 21.
Yeah, but Colucci on the block. Boy, that's her third that I've counted just alone in this period. That was a 2-on-1. She was able to deflect that puck and not even a shot on goal there. Great work by 18.
Kilroy down low for Brian, who already has 1 in this game, a team high 13 on the season. Brian still working with it, gets the turn, chance for the near circle. Beacon got her stick down, and this one's cleared down the left of the ice. It won't go for an icing as it's on target. Collin forced to come out of her crease.
That's big for the Beacons, able to get a change. That line was very tired. Had that been icing, they would have had to stay on the ice.
Beacons get a new 5 out there as Grace Fisher, currently the lead forechecker. Not what you'd like to see. Comes back to the Beacons blue line for Drill, who feeds Fisher on the DDD pass. Fisher around one player, loses it, but it comes back to the Beacons. Edie Moritz through traffic, backhand feed for Fisher, tees up a shot, knocked down off the skate of Jocelyn Forrest, and Fisher can't keep it in.
A lot of block shots today for the Spartans. They've done a good job on the defensive side.
Moritz from the far circle, shot goes high and wide, back to the near side where Jane Morissette will collect for UMass Boston. Edie Moritz and the Beacons' second line out there, chance to clear the zone, and a nice tip by Selena Bailey, but the Beacons will head right back in.
Yeah, get a change here.
3 Beacons will come off, 2 staying on. That's Lund and Moritz, as the Beacons will have a chance to keep it in, but 2 Beacons collide, and Saxer, a nice recovery. She was able to get to it, but unable to get it out of the zone. Remillard uses the shoulder.
Under 7 to play becomes more and more imperative. Beacons, if you don't have an option, do not get it blocked. Get it deep. You can see here, get it deep, work out of the corners, start to chew up some of that clock.
And Matt, you know I love those stats. Remember, 2-1. It's happened a lot in the series recently. Lots of 1-goal games, lots of 2-1 overtime games, including 2016 when the Beacons upset the Spartans. 6:34 to go between the Beacons and a potential trip to the NEHC championship game. Fighting through traffic is Leffler, stripped to the puck, but the Beacons have numbers back, and Galucci will be there first. A backhand feed to no one in particular, and Kilroy going the other way. Beacons coming off the bench. They had numbers, and Galucci again unable to connect. It's Lisa Kilroy clogging up the passing lanes. Odd Karam. Mayette struggled to paddle that one away, picked up by Bryant. It's Stevens, the rookie of the year. Pass gets kicked away to the far side, picked up by Gauthier, choosing up a shot. 2 Beacons dive in front, and it's Colucci who will be credited with the shot block.
And a big block there. So turnover by the Beacons has created some opportunities here for Castleton.
Harris does just enough to get out of the zone. Now it's Leffler who can't find it amongst their skates, and the Beacons are forced to go back into their own zone. Colucci wins the foot race with Trevino, down to 5:45 to go in the period. Beacons just trying to hold on at this point. Back into the zone. Galucci has options to the far side. Instead, she goes straight ahead for Harris. Chance for the Beacons to break out. Ahead for King. Scored 1 goal against Castleton this year. Sends a soft shot that's ticked away by the paddle of Calm. Gave up 2 in the first, but it's been good since then. Shot from distance never got through from Peacock. Down to 5:20 to go in regulation. Beacons playing some defensive hockey, trying to keep Castleton in their own end. Monroe comes away with the loose puck. Feed pass right onto the tape, but Trevino can't handle it, and it's Jane-Ann Drill standing up like a wall.
Great read by Drill. She's going to get into the zone here. She should be able to get this puck deep.
And she will do so and heads right back for the blue line as the Beacons make sure that Castleton doesn't get an odd man rush.
Another great read by Drill.
She met Vasile there, and Vasile loses the battle as the Beacons will get a change with under 5 to go. Beacons are killing off minutes at a time right now. Haven't seen a ton of whistles here in the third. Nolan comes away with the loose puck, looking for Beauregard who can't get a shot out. Both teams tremendous stick work. Puck is loose, and Calm holds on with 2 Beacons crashing the net.
Well, 2 great reads by Drill, and I love the calculated risk taken by the freshman there. Initially in the neutral zone, able to read that pass, intercept it, bring it into the zone, get it deep, and then again, a calculated risk on the pinch. Knew she had a good percentage chance of keeping that puck in the zone and not allowing it to be cleared. Just great work by the defenseman there. Beacons 4 minutes to play here. Matchups become so critical now, and penalties are worth double.
Galucci, was she able to keep it in? Castleton says no. The referees say yes. Chance in front for Barry, and she can't beat Calm. That would have done it. Galucci from the top of the circle. Shot goes all the way wide. Galucci's the only play there, and she's able to keep it in. Katie Barry nearly put this game away. Easily the best save of the game from Alexis Calm.
Yeah, Calm taking away the angle, able to make that save on Katie Barry. She was all alone in front. Beacon's going to throw this one deep as well. Still continuing the pressure on the offensive side.
Rhea Colucci just bulldozed her way through, but she loses a stick. Not good, as she's going to head forward, and Castleton has a player wide open to the near side. It's Kilroy. Chance for a 2-on-1 if they hurry, and Lizzie Saxer is back because the Castleton player didn't have enough time. Saxer losing the edge. Kilroy falls to the ice as well, and this will allow Castleton to get numbers forward. No movement from Calm, but there's no reason. Still plenty of time left. 3:45 to go in regulation. The Beacons holding on to a 2-1 lead. Just out of the reach of Moritz. It'll give Castleton a chance to dump it back in, but Gautier's pass intercepted by Lund. The pass for Morissette. Morissette loses it off the skate of Tverziak. Otherwise, she would have been in one-on-one. We go the other way. Brienne, a shot through traffic. Whipped wide, picked up by Jetter for the Beacons. It'll come all the way out. This doesn't have enough legs for an icing, and Castleton retreats into their own zone with 3:15 to play.
Short shifts if you're the Beacons. Got to keep them short here. Maintain freshness. If you too long a shift, you're going to get pinned in your own zone.
Monroe's dump was knocked down by a Beacon, but a great steal from the Spartans by Babiars, and now the Beacons get it right back. Harris fighting off Monroe. Puck tipped out of the zone as the Beacons fans appreciate that great effort from Emily Harris. Under 3 minutes to go in what has been a back-and-forth game. Both teams doing a tremendous job defensively. Brown can't handle the pass. Now it's Hannah Rose trying to extend her career, one of 2 seniors on this Spartans roster. Puck is loose amongst the skates there of Remillard, still loose, just inside the red line on the Castleton side. 2 Beacons, 3 Spartans, and it's dumped down low. The Beacons will send Leffler off. 2:25 to go. At this point, you have to start thinking about sending the goalie if you can get it down low for Ashley Salerno and the Castleton Spartans. Pass is centered for Brienne, but 4 Beacons meet her, and Peacock will dump it in and give chase. Beacons are trying to keep it in. Sarah King with it. King will swerve back, has an option at the blue line. That's Fisher. Fisher with the player attacking her, back for King. King will just flip it down low as we hit the 2-minute mark. It's Peacock with it. Beacons do not need a shot here, but they look for King, who can't find it. Coming forward is Fisher, and smartly sends it to the far side, knowing your shot wouldn't get through. Rose sends it out to the blue line, kept in there by Drill. A second effort, and it does come out, but just barely, as Peacock will fight to bring it back in, tied up with the Spartan. Castleton asking for a penalty. The Beacons asking for one as well, and it's not going to be called either way. 95 seconds to go. Beacons are just killing this clock methodically at this point.
It's been great. This has been great to watch. Continuing to get pucks deep and just working out of the corners here. Got to make sure you get back here.
It's Jocelyn Forrest leading the way. Colomy's out of her crease, and now she's heading to the bench. Minute 19 to go. The Spartans about to get the extra attacker. Comes out of the zone. Trail with a lot of pressure from Bianchini, who has 2 points tonight. Nolan is just trying to leave it off for a teammate, a backhand feed, and Galucci will tip it back into the zone.
Minute to play here.
65 seconds to play.
Can't let if you're a forward, Castleton forward, you got to make sure you enter the zone. Watch for the offsides. Beacons defense can't allow forwards to get behind them.
55 seconds to go as it's set to the red line for Kilroy. Kilroy can't hold on. Beacons looking to kill off the clock. Keep Castleton out of the zone. It's poked loose right along the blue line, and we've got an offsides as it was Stevens just a second early. 44 seconds to go. When do you use your timeout, and who's using it?
You got to take it here. I think if you're Castleton, there's not enough time left. You got 44 seconds, and they do. I don't think you would love to be able to use that timeout on an in-zone play, but there's not enough time. I don't think with 44 seconds there's any guarantee you're going to get an in-zone draw. So here you have it. You're down 1. So if you're Castleton here, you've got a neutral zone faceoffs, which changes things on the way you draw this up. You've got to still maintain. If we win, what are we doing? If we lose, what are we doing? But a neutral zone draw changes a lot of that. So really, instead of trying to work a shot towards the net, you're just trying to win this draw and get this puck deep to work from there. I would assume most teams would try to win this draw and work it off the weak side, try to enter off the opposite side. If you're the Beacons, coverage is everything here. Whether win or lose, you got to make sure you have at least 3 people back, 2 defensemen and a forward, into this that are going to automatically exit the neutral zone, enter their defensive zone, and make sure that they have coverage no matter what happens with Castleton.
Do you change your lines right now if you're UMass Boston and send out your 3 best players or your 3 most complete players?
It's totally a coaching decision. Totally a coaching decision. That's up to Berm in what she sees, what she's seeing on her bench.
It's going to be the second line
Looks
instead.
like she's going with the second.
They have been the best group.
They've looked good all night. I like that call. If you're Castleton here, you got to understand, okay, who's on the ice and what are we trying to do here? Beacons got to watch Kilroy. 15 on the wing. You're going to see her number here. She looks like she's going to line up on the wing. So let's see what Castleton runs here. You see they're drawing 1 forward out on the wall. Beacons electing to go man-to-man coverage. They're going to cover that on the entry, and Beacons win the draw.
Brian versus Moritz, and Moritz, the Beacons' top penalty face-off person, misses. As there's the shot, and Morissette just misses as well. Beacons with a big face-off win, and it's Moritz sending it wide. 3 chances all wide of the net. Morissette still fighting for it. She could see her goal streak snapped here, but I don't think she's going to care as her career has a chance to extend. Puck is sent out of the zone. 2v2 right now. It's Kilroy. Can't get a ton behind it. Brienne into the zone. Ahead for Stevens. Under 15 seconds to go. 6-on-5 in favor of the Spartans. Down by a goal. Galucci trying to pin it in. Down to 6 seconds. There's 3 players for both sides. Centering feed bounces around. One last chance for Gaudier. It goes high and wide, and the Beacons hold on 2-1.
Well, a great play at the end there, Seth. A huge Beacons win, and they're going to advance here. But that play, that puck was in the slot, and a big block by Brie Galucci. A 2-1 win for the Beacons, but that play at the end there was huge. A big block. And that could have easily been a shot on goal, but Galucci deflects it wide. Great team effort today by the Beacons. Won the game in the first period. 2 goals in the first, didn't need more than that, and they walk out of here with a 2-1 win.
Won the game offensively in the first period, won the game defensively in the third. I'd love to see how many shots Castleton had versus how many shots Castleton had blocked in that third period. The Beacons gave up the body, and in the end, it's enough as UMass Boston improves to 3-0 this season against Castleton, 4-0 all-time in the postseason. The Beacons are headed back to the championship game for the second time in 3 years. We
Very
don't
impressive.
know quite yet if it'll be Norwich. We'll have that for you in the post-game show. But this Beacons team showed that as good as they played offensively here in the month of February, they're a team that's willing to win in a lot of different ways. And today it was just the grit and the defensive hustle from all 18 skaters out there, along with Rachel Maya.
We knew the game was going to be close. History told us that both teams were going to be coming in here, obviously looking for a win, but it was going to be a tight game, and you took a look at what the Beacons were able to do defensively. Got those 2 goals early on, were able to sit on that for the rest of the game, and then a great effort. I didn't see a ton of blown coverage today, Seth. I think they did a really nice job in their own zone. They were able to get pucks out, block shots all day. Mayette had to come, made the saves that she was asked to make, and a systematic win there for the Beacons. A Castleton team that was a formidable opponent, but a Beacons team that was just a little bit better today.
Well, Matt, a year ago, and we still have a full post-game show to talk about this team and this effort. A year ago, this team won 19 games. They left the Edward T. Barry Ice Rink after the quarterfinal round because last year was still the Final Four format. And we just praise this team and the work of Lindsey Berman. I think this year might be more impressive in that the Beacons didn't win as many games. They struggled, but the way this team has finished the year, 8 of 11, the way this team has found a way to win in different ways and to get more contributions across the board, this is an equally impressive performance. And really, I think the coaching staff has had to work a lot harder through some of the trials and tribulations of this season.
Yeah, I mean, well, we knew this team was talented, and you take a look at, I think the difference today was that, Coach Berman, and you hear a lot of coaches say, playing a full 60, I don't know if they got there today, but they were pretty close. And that third period, Castleton, I think the Beacons did a great job of countering. Obviously, Castleton looking for the goal, but the thing I liked is the Beacons didn't just play defense. They continued to pressure on the forecheck, continued to try and generate opportunities, didn't just sit on the 1-goal lead. And I think it caused a lot of havoc for Castleton. They weren't able to break out of the zone as cleanly as they would have liked. Any opportunities that they did get were relatively routine saves. Mayette had to come up with a couple there, but routine saves from Mayette. A lot of them were blocked, and I think the Beacons won this game on defense today. They did a really good job on the forecheck, and they were really limited on coverage, or blown coverages rather, in their defensive zone. I think today's game was won purely on determination in their defensive zone coverage.
We'll take a quick break, and then we'll be back with our post-game show. We'll have an interview with Lindsey Berman and one of our 3 stars as the Beacons advance to the championship game. It looks like they're playing Norwich, who has a multiple-goal lead late in the third period, but we'll let you know when that is officially final.
Imagine yourself at one of fewer than 300 prestigious research universities in the country, located on a peninsula overlooking the Boston Harbor, just minutes from downtown Boston. Imagine what it would be like to be a student here.
I imagine myself succeeding in the business world.
I imagine taking advantage of all the clinical opportunities in Boston.
Want to go into the police force for a little bit and ultimately end up either working for the Department of Homeland Security or the Department of ICE.
I imagine studying biology, working hand in hand with the professor.
There are many reasons students are attracted to UMass Boston. Just imagine the opportunity to participate in research, live and learn in Boston, and to experience true diversity.
Our researchers have expanded the research enterprise admirably over the last decade. They have engaged in important environmental stewardship. They are at the frontiers of the life sciences and public health.
Being in Boston is a huge advantage, not just to someone like me who's a researcher, but actually to our students.
I started working for Dr. McCoska since my sophomore year, my ending sophomore year, and now I'm going to my senior year, so it's been a very nice journey.
School for the Environment is becoming really one of the premier, or if not the premier, coastal environmental sciences programs in the country. The natural laboratory is 5 minutes away for us. The undergraduates and the graduate students can jump on the T or walk out the door or drive 5 minutes and grab sediment samples and vegetation and talk to watershed associations. It's really a wonderful opportunity for our students here with this location.
UMass Boston shares the peninsula with the Edward M. Kennedy Institute for the United States Senate and the John F. Kennedy Library and Museum. Just imagine an internship with one of these organizations or a Fortune 500 company.
There's no location like UMass Boston.
It's so close to the Innovation District, the 4-Point Channel. You can just hop on the red line and get there.
I like the fact that Boston is near the water.
I was a legislative intern for Senator Elizabeth Warren in Washington, D.C. And I was there, in the Senate. It made me feel good about myself. It made me feel like I could do so much more. There's so much more out there and ahead of me.
After my internship at Ernst & Young this past summer, I was offered a full-time position to join their risk advisory practice, where I'll be doing part-time security consulting and part-time risk advisory consulting. And I never would have had this opportunity had it not been for UMass Boston.
Imagine what it will be like to interact with students from 150 countries.
You meet people from everywhere. That's the best thing about the school.
Here there is a lot of international students, so it's really cool to meet people from different countries, different parts of the world.
We also have students here at UMass Boston who come to us from Texas, from Alabama, from Georgia, from California. And I often ask them, what brings you here? And it's always Boston. And then when they come here, they realize, UMass Boston.
I decided to come to UMass Boston from the West Coast because, look at it. We've got the ocean, it's beautiful. I'm getting a really great education at great value. I couldn't be happier to be here.
This is what the world looks like. It's here at UMass Boston.
And now, imagine doing all of this at a campus that is buzzing with more than 100 clubs and organizations, 18 NCAA athletic teams, and concerts and films galore. Whether you're interested in studying abroad or doing service work over alternative spring break, we have something for everyone.
Starting my first semester here, I was assistant coordinator of Casa Latina. Second semester, I was promoted to coordinate my own center, the Student Wellness Center.
Being on the track and field team here is the greatest decisions I've made besides coming to UMass Boston.
People at UMass Boston, they're here because they know they can have an impact, not just on research, but on people, on their students.
I came here from the University of Michigan to develop and direct the Center for Personalized Cancer Therapy. What is, I think, really great about the CPCT is that it's actually a joint venture between UMass Boston and the Dana-Farber Harvard Cancer Center.
We're able to bring researchers from Dana-Farber with expertise in cancer.
And we're back here on the Beacons Broadcast Network, joined by head coach Lindsey Berman. Coach, this is a Castleton team that every single game it seems to be a one-goal game, an overtime game. They have a ton of offensive talent, and today you shut them down with your defense rather than making this another high-scoring game. How happy are you with your team's entire performance? It seemed like that third period was a coaching clinic of how you would do it. Breaking up passes, clogging the neutral zone, not allowing them set up. I don't think that they had more than 5 or 6 shots on target versus 6 or 8 shots that were blocked by one of your defensemen or forwards.
Yeah, God, I'm so proud of every single one of them, and Rachel included. We've been harping all week on discipline, having good sticks, being good on the forecheck, having a good gap, all those little things. And I feel like, what is this, our 27th game? It finally clicked.
Let's go through some of the big moments of this one. First off, that second goal late in the first period, Bree Colucci crashing the net. You had one power play goal in your last 16 tries. To get that power play goal, I know you were probably working on it in practice. How big was that for your team's confidence and to go into that first intermission on a real high note?
Yeah, that goal was huge, and we've shown Bree that video of her, needing to go down to that lane, and she did, and it paid off. But I thought our power play looked really good in the beginning of the game. Not so much in the third period, but yeah, it was good for our confidence to score that goal.
Castleton scores the power play goal, and immediately you go back on the power play. Obviously, you didn't score in that second period, but how big is that, instead of maybe allowing Castleton to keep pushing, to get a little bit of the momentum back at that point and to settle down?
Yeah, that's huge, and I felt like we kind of grabbed the momentum back there and possessed the puck and used our speed a little bit, so that was really big for us after their power play.
And then we'll go back a little bit. The save on Alli Stevens. That's who Castleton wants out there. She's all alone. Closest player to her is one of the trailing Castleton players. Rachel Myatt struggled a little bit with her rebound control early, but she's been so good in the postseason for you. How big was that save, and what's going through your mind at that point?
God, when I see that kid all alone, I'm just hoping for Rachel to step up. And we've talked about it before. She steps up in the big games, and I think she loves the pressure of the playoffs. And she was probably our best defensive player today. So, God, it's good for her confidence. It's good for the team to want to play in front of her, and I really couldn't be more proud of her.
What was the message before the third period and during the third period as you executed it so effectively, killing off 30 seconds by 30 seconds, maybe a minute in the offensive end? What were you telling your team as they came off and then went back out on the ice?
To keep pressing. It's really, I think, a natural thing to sit back when you have a lead and to try to, back up and accept the rush. But the message was to keep going, to keep pressing on our forecheck, to keep having a good gap, to continue to be aggressive in our D zone. And they really stuck to the game plan, and they bought in, and they believed the whole time.
This is your third season. Looks from the outside as if it might have been the most difficult because of that long losing streak in the middle of the season. You were able to bounce back. You're heading up to Norwich next week unless Plymouth scores 3 goals in the final 3 minutes. Not likely to happen. How confident do you feel in your group because of the way they've turned the ship around since you got back to conference play in late January?
I am confident in the group. We fought through a lot this year, and for a team to get themselves out of that rut, I think says a lot about them and the character and the leadership. So I'm feeling good about it. We have to have another really good week of practice, and just like we did last week, we have to start with Monday and go really hard and then really prepare for 3 days for Norwich.
Well, Coach, it's still relatively early, probably around 5 o'clock. So you have 7 hours to celebrate before you turn to next week?
That's true, yeah. They have the midnight rule. I told them, please don't celebrate too hard tonight.
Well, it's been a good week for Lindsey Berman, obviously a player who played with a lot of USA players who made it to the Olympics, so stayed up late on Thursday night. Don't stay up too late tonight, Coach, but congratulations on the win.
Thanks, Seth.
We'll head to a quick commercial break. We'll be back with our number 1 star with Matt Meisenbacher.
People at UMass Boston, they're here because they know they can have an impact, not just on research, but on people, on their students.
I came here from the University of Michigan to develop and direct the Center for Personalized Cancer Therapy. What is, I think, really great about the CPCT is that it's actually a joint venture between UMass Boston and the Dana-Farber Harvard Cancer Center.
We're able to...
We're here in our post-game report. Bree Colucci, MVP of the game, and a solid 2-1 win for the Beacons today. You had the game-winning goal. Walk us through a little bit what you saw there. We were talking a little bit off the air, but what was going through your head? Walk us through that play.
Yeah, we were moving the puck pretty well in the power play, and Edie took a wonderful shot from the side, and Marin was able to get a piece of it, and the rebound came out right to me, and I just was able to bang it home. So I'm thankful for them to getting that puck to the net.
Huge block at the end. The game, a matter of seconds left, and that puck trickled into the slot. It looked like you had a pretty good read on it. Did you know that there was a player behind you, and I guess walk us through that play as well?
Yeah, I knew she was behind me, but, I thought the girl who had the puck on her stick was the biggest threat at that point, and you never know, in that type of situation, it could get off a stick, Rachel could be screened, so I figured I could just throw my body out in front of it, and hopefully it hits something and just goes wide.
Yeah, huge block there. Huge block getting that, and obviously Rachel playing well. A huge team effort today. Defensively, obviously, your specialty there. Seemed like you guys had a really good game plan going into the game, and you maintained that consistency throughout. What was going on the bench, as this game was going on? A lot of block shots. Was there a lot of chatter out there?
Yeah, we just kept talking to each other, keeping up the intensity, and we just wanted to win this one and move on to next weekend. So we did for the seniors and for Rachel, and we just did it for everyone.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Looks like it's going to be Norwich.
Yeah.
I think up 4-1. Not sure if that's a final, but looks like you're headed up to Norwich. What's the mentality going up and playing up there against a team that hasn't lost all year?
Yeah, we gotta stay focused. We played them tough in the early this year, and then when we went up there, we didn't do too well. But I think if we play our game, play 60 minutes, it'll be a good game.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You guys seem to have all cylinders firing right now. So good effort today, and hopefully we can walk away with a win next weekend.
Yes.
Thanks a lot for joining us, Bree. We'll be back after this.
Thank you.
What do we mean when we say UMass is here for a reason? We mean that the 5-campus UMass system is the only public research university that the people of Massachusetts established to create better futures for themselves, but also for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts as a whole. It's a university that educates 73,000 students every day and graduates 17,000 graduates every year. We are the university that educates the workforce of Massachusetts. We're one of the state's 3 major academic research engines: research that saves and improves people's lives, and research that drives the innovation economy of Massachusetts. We provide services and economic opportunity to every region of the Commonwealth. The noted historian David McCullough once said that 2 great concepts, university and Massachusetts, come together in only one place, and we are very aware of how fortunate we are to bear the name, the University of Massachusetts. We recognize that we are truly here for a reason, and that recognition inspires us and drives us every single day.
Back on our Beacons Broadcast Network postgame show, you heard from Lindsey Berman, you heard from Bree Colucci. Let's take a look at the final statistics, Matt. And realistically, it was even more one-sided than I thought. The Beacons ended up with 8 shots in that third period. They held Castleton, who was desperate for a goal to keep their season alive, to 3 shots on goal. Probably quite a few more attempted shots, but how impressive is that, knowing that Castleton was playing for their lives, to do that against a pretty high-scoring Castleton team? It shows what this Beacons team is made of.
No question. Defense was there all game. Anytime you keep a team under 20 shots on goal, you see 18 total there. That's an impressive outing. And I think a credit there to the players. You heard Bree, blocking shots, the mentality, doing what it takes to win a hockey game, putting yourself in areas that are going to be a high chance of having a shot or having a shot blocked. And I think Beacons did a great job of that today. Really maintained themselves in the face-off circle, too. 26 wins total. Edie Moritz with a great effort. I think she finished with about 14 wins total, if I'm not mistaken.
14 of 16.
Yeah, so did a really great job in the face-off dot. And I thought this was a systematic win for the Beacons. Didn't really need too much in terms of offense. Those 2 goals early on, and then we're able to really button down defensively to win this hockey game.
And give Castleton a ton of credit. They did give up 32 shots. They had 23 shot blocks in this contest. Beacons finished with 13 of their own. Rachel Myatt, her 6th career win in 7 postseason games here in the NEHC tournament. 17 saves on 18 shots. Alexis Cum, 30 saves on 32 shots. Let's take a look at our scoring summary. This game was really won offensively in the first period. The Beacons scoring 2 goals in the final 11 minutes of the first, and then the lone goal for Castleton in the second, as we saw a scoreless 20 minutes, which was actually pretty exciting considering the lack of goals.
No, and I think the Beacons came out of the gates firing. It's sometimes in a playoff game like this, there's a little bit of nerves, and had they allowed that to take over, might have been singing a different song right now, Seth. I think they really came in to this game with some determination. There was a lot of focus. You could feel the presence in that first period, but really did a nice job. Scored 2 quick ones, and then continue to fight, continue to press. But I thought the game was really won there, all 3 periods, but really in that third period. They did a really fantastic job of buttoning down and forcing Castleton's hand, not allowing too much of anything. I mean, Castleton had a hard enough time breaking out of their own zone, let alone getting shots on goal. Beacons did a really good job, and they earned this win today.
Let's take a look at our 3 stars. We talked to star number 1, Bree Colucci, the game-winning goal. Also a part of a defense that allowed just the 1 goal and had 2 shot blocks of her own, as we just lost our graphics package, which is, all things considered, not the worst thing to happen after the game ends. So we'll talk you through it. Bree Colucci, our number 1 star. Alli Bianchini, the other goal. We think she should have had an assist as well, so 2-point night. And then Rachel Myatt, 17 saves. Probably her last game, probably the last game for both Bianchini and Myatt here on their home ice. And they both came up big, as Bianchini didn't give up on the play on that first goal, and Myatt struggled at points, but in the end, a couple of huge saves in this win.
Yeah, and you know what? You bring up a good point there, Seth. Extending, you heard Bree mention it a little bit, but extending the career of some of these seniors, that's part of it. As an underclassman, you don't, once it's over, that's it. And I think they maybe had that in the back of their minds going into this game, trying to continue to press and earn one more game against a formidable Norwich team next weekend.
On the other side, the final game for both Kilroy and Rose on the other side, both players playing in well over 100 games for the Spartans. 2 very talented players. We hope they go on to have great futures, as those 2 ladies both had really strong games. I think we had a 4-1 final up at Norwich. I know that they tweeted out that they had one, so the Beacons will be at Norwich. Not sure on the time, because if the Beacons men's win tonight, then Norwich won't host the men's game next week. If the Beacons men's team loses tonight at Norwich, they'll have to host a doubleheader, so it'll be a 3 or 4 o'clock start. Right now, since we did get our graphics package up, we'll see if we can throw that in, just to give a shout out to our production crew.
Almost had a perfect game until the end there. Alyssa with the fumble on the goal line.
No, that's just on the computer. It occasionally does that. Let's see if we can get the graphics back in real quick, and we can. So this was our
Nice
production
save,
crew.
Rachel.
It was a difficult one. We didn't have our softball and baseball athletes today, both teams scrimmaging, so a little bit of a different looking group, but a still tremendous production. Rachel Maslak and Alyssa Fugel directing, Alex Gibbs on instant replay. My name is Seth Ransky, joined by Matt Meisenbacher on the call. David Wahlberg, we didn't hear from him, but we saw him on camera as we lost audio.
Davey!
Doing a little bit of sideline reporting in the first period. Marcelo Cunha, Laura Roman Castro, and Eileen Shee, your camera operators. Folks, we've really enjoyed bringing you the hockey broadcast all season long, both the men's and the women's. We hope you've enjoyed it as well. Matt, any last words as the Beacons get ready to head to Kreitzberg next Saturday?
Good luck. Tough Norwich team. Good luck. They're undefeated this year. It's going to take a strong effort, but history tells us they're not too scared. Won a year ago, right? 1-2-0 up there.
2016.
2016, sorry. So they've got a little bit of some winning history up there, so hopefully that continues. But no, I echo what you said, Seth. Great. Glad to have a lot of people tuning in, and it was a pleasure working with you this year.
That'll do it for us here on the Beacons Broadcast Network. UMass Boston, a 2-1 winner. They head to their second championship game in 3 years. For the second time in 3 years, they'll have to topple the powerhouse, the Norwich University Cadets. That'll happen next Saturday at a time to be determined. Thanks so much for watching, folks, and have a great weekend.